Oh, I was gonna say something really bad.
I know you were.
Yeah.
All right, so here we go. Let's continue to do the pregame because we weren't actually able to do a real pregame beforehand. So I'm Dmachine, and welcome to. I'm going to say this is the first episode of Queue Up ever. I mean, we've done previous episodes of Queue Up, but it just wasn't exactly what my vision was. So we're going to try this again. What Queue Up is a PvP talk show. It talks about different things that are going on in the community. In the PvP community of World of Warcraft specifically, whether that be tournaments, BlizzCon coming up, or even some drama. But we do have quite a few questions. We have quite a few questions of people asking specifically for quite a few questions. Dude, the questions that I actually got were not bad after a while on battle.net. But we'll get to that first. But first, I want to introduce these guys. We have Rositajones from Method Black. Thank you for joining us, Rositajones. Rositajones is the recent roster change for Method Black as well, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. We have Kubzy from Cloud9. Everyone knows who Kubzy is. Repping that Cloud9 hat.
Who's Kubzy? I'm
Yeah,
not sure.
Yeah. And then, of course, we have Elbereth. Now, Elbereth is brand new. Not really. He's been in the scene forever, but you might not know him because he's kind of always worked behind the scenes, but he was a player manager at BlizzCon, so he knows all the ins and outs of every player and every team. And also, he's my my go-to man when it comes to the hard-hitting questions, because I need the backup. Bringing these players on like this, these players are intimidating, man. The shit that happens.
Yeah, very intimidating.
What?
Exactly. That's why.
I mean, just look at me.
Can I just tell you like a quick thing about BlizzCon? Like,
Oh god.
so Tox and I had to fly there early, right, to like meet the players and check them in the hotel.
Yes.
And literally every single player that showed up at the hotel I got dropped off looked so fucking scared that they wouldn't come up to me or the Blizzard desk, that we had to go up and get them ourselves.
It's
Like,
pretty
in, like,
intimidating thing, dude.
literally all of them. And then they didn't go to the rooms. They just sat with us. Like Carlos sat with us and Gordy sat with us and like everybody. And I was like, you guys can go like to your room and stuff. But they were like so literally nervous. All of them. And then they didn't go to the rooms. They just sat with us.
Big week.
And then we met Kubzy.
everyone.
That was the day I met Kubzy.
That was the day we met.
Are you talking about regionals?
It was a
no,
good
I think
day.
he was talking about BlizzCon.
Oh no. He used to play BlizzCon because
I didn't go to regionals.
You were at
I wasn't cool
regionals.
enough for that.
Yeah.
That's whatever.
I should have gone to regionals, right, David?
Wait. No comment. Anyway. Wait, what are you doing?
No, make the comment.
I'll
I want
make
to
the
hear the good
comment.
stuff.
I'll make the
I
comment.
can't check Discord, just so you know. There's just no way.
They needed me at regionals. Is
Now
the
that I had to
comment
turn
supposed to be.
the arrow off or whatever, I just can't ever check this anything. Like anytime I move a window, it just fucks. with the
Yeah, I know.
window.
You keep doing it on the cams and stuff, so.
I know. I'm completely aware.
Okay.
Dude,
Just
Hannah's like
confirm.
the voice in our ears. She's like doesn't. She's not on
Dmachine,
stream.
turn your mic up.
Yeah, your mic
Again.
is too low, they said.
It's like I don't know what to tell you guys here. Let me.
Sounds fine to me.
Sounds recording. Yeti levels. Boom. All right, I'm at 58 now, so it should be significantly louder. Oh, here I can actually do this as well. Sorry, now I'm probably too loud.
I can turn you down. Yeah, I can turn
maybe
you
a little bit.
I'm trying to get to the Google Docs a different way now because I had to X out of every freaking thing, man. What is this? Queue up topics of discussion. All right. So I don't want to get into the topics of discussion just yet. I still want to have you guys introduce yourselves as well, even though I just did all the introductions.
I'm professional gamer Rositajones. I play mage and I'm currently the rank 1 Resto Druid in NA. Previously the rank 1 enhancement shaman. I'm just a multi-class god pretty much.
A multi-class god.
Elbreth, you can introduce yourself. I'm Garky Jr.
Would you say Junior? Would you say you're the best multiclasser in the world though right now?
No, of course not.
Mm, all right.
Just saying. I mean, you got a Resto Druid right in the top 5. I don't know.
All right, go ahead. Place your introduction. Tell us, everyone, who you are, what it is that you do. Give us your spiel, dude.
I don't know, man. I'm just a washed up done dad who's an aspiring esports agent, but I am a good player manager.
Ooh.
A washed up Dundad.
I'm a washed up Dundad.
Are you in the
Although-
guild?
No, I am the guild Dundads. I wasn't a founding member of
Really? It's very, very cool.
with Nadiast. Yeah, we're just we're hanging out, being Dundads.
Holy moly, that is really
We're fighting
strong.
Wallabear's guild.
Wallabear's guild? Anyway.
Yeah, Wallabear's gonna call. He's like creating a guild like.
This is the most
called,
drawn out
Starting
introduction
Sons or
ever,
something.
Elb. It's Kubzy's turn. Gosh. No, but shout out to Elbreth for being an amazing player manager.
I'm
at
fighting you
BlizzCon.
next LAN. I'm gonna fight you. We're gonna fight, David. Next. Roll around in bed, maybe. I don't know. Just kidding.
Kubzy, you're up. Please introduce yourselves. Tell us, everyone, who you are, what it is you do. Real quick.
I heal people in WoW, and I play WoW, and I'm Kubzy,
And you're
and I'm the
good.
NA champ, and I'm not a ladder player like Rositajones.
That's exactly what you are,
And I
actually.
play for
That's what everyone is.
Okay.
That's what everyone
Yeah,
does.
that's me, I guess.
I didn't mean to interrupt. Sorry.
It's cool, I guess. I think I'm done. I don't know, unless there's something else about me. I stream sometimes.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've been actually really enjoying your streams of late. I like your insight. I have to say.
Very insightful.
Yes. So the topics of discussion of the day are as follows: the growth and / future of WoW esports. I want to talk a little bit about like other esports and how they became successful and what is it we need to do to reach set goals. We're also going to talk a little bit about recent roster swaps on both of your teams. Of course, Rositajones jumping on the Method Black was a pretty big deal, but also Goreki on Cloud9 was also a pretty big deal. I'd love to get into the minds of you guys about that. Tournament format changes. A lot of people were talking about the finals of the GPL tournaments, and we recently did a poll. I just wanted to talk a little bit about the options in that poll. And then cheaters, bots and stuff. Recently, there's been quite a lot of stir up on the forums and whatnot of cheaters and botting and stuff like that, but specifically that the action against them is taking too long to happen. And I'd like to talk a little bit about that. Also, the NA versus EU rivalry. Of course, there's always the horrible cancer of a chat that occurs when you have NA versus EU, but I still want to go over it and why it's so prominent. And yeah, more about that stuff about BlizzCon and stuff. Why do you think EU did so much better than NA at BlizzCon and stuff? And then I also wanted to talk about the recent Legion PvP posts, which proposed a whole bunch of radical changes for PvP in Legion. And then at the very end, we're going to be answering a few questions that were asked on the forums. And then at the very end, we're going to be taking calls from fans for you guys. So, yeah.
Fan questions?
Wonderful.
Call-ins? Ooh,
Absolutely great.
I
Fantastic.
love it, dude.
Turn up my mic again, guys? Like, what?
It's fine. It's fine. Just keep it.
It's fine.
Maybe it's not fun.
It's
Maybe
always.
not for us.
Yeah, it
It's always
actually dipped down again. I don't know why.
Is it Discord changing again?
Maybe. I don't think it was Discord ever, because I didn't have Discord open last time this was happening. Whatever, I'm just going to keep it open and just constantly change it. Luckily for me, it's going to be way easier to do this now than it would be while mid-casting. So, we'll just do that. It's not a big deal. Alright, cool. Now we can't
This
see
fire is very cozy, by the way. It was chilly outside. I'm very happy that we.
I'm glad.
Okay, his mic cut out. Dude.
Yeah, his mic always cuts out. You know that?
My mic?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's Discord, dude. It doesn't like good mics.
Alright, I fixed it, I think. Wait, what is that?
My chairs doesn't sit up. I can't. I always have to lean back whenever I'm sitting down. I can't like sit up straight. I need a C9 chair, honestly.
Okay. All right. There we go, everybody. So before we jump into the discussion, is there anything that you guys want to say before getting into it? Maybe something to add to the discussion list of the day? Or to everything?
You're putting me on the spot right now, David. I don't know.
I am?
Yeah, I don't know, man. Dude, honestly, like
just, like, go with
the
the
community as
flow.
a whole.
Just discuss, and then if there's more to discuss, we'll
Yeah.
discuss.
I feel
I'm gonna be honest. Like the community added some really good stuff. Like I thought, you know, when you ask people for questions, usually like you get like dick,
trust
dick
me.
comments or something.
Those questions were the result of a fine tooth.
Yeah, but you know, it's like, I mean, everybody's gonna be like, oh, well, you know, whatever. But like, I don't know. I respect the community now. I think
Compare.
dick sizes. Yeah, I don't
No,
know.
I
about
wasn't gonna
that.
say that. I was gonna say
I just
compare
said it, I
gear,
guess.
like compare gear like on characters.
Oh, like transmogs? Mine's really
Yeah.
good right now.
My
Oh
transmog
my-
is always the best,
All right,
so,
so-
I'd win automatically.
Oh my gosh.
Actually, it's actually his mage transmog is true because like everybody's been copying it. That's when you know it's good.
Both
When
of them,
people copy.
both of them. But anyway, go on.
Oh, this whiskey, dude. Okay. I was not prepared, man. All right, so we're going to jump into the first discussion topic, which is the growth/future of WoW esports. So right away, let's just open it up with, how do you think the future of WoW esports is going to look? Like taking Legion into example, and as well as the additional exposure that the Warcraft movie is going to give. Do you think that that is going to be enough to be able to make World of Warcraft like a competing esport with the other big esports? Or do you think there's something else that we need to add to our arsenal to get us there?
Did you see the face I made?
No, I missed it. Oh, okay.
I'll make it again.
Elaborate. No more body language.
I think it's. Well, I'm all about body language, but I think it's a little too far gone. I don't know. It could happen. It's like
Dang.
you mentioned, like what made other esports successful. Like for example, League of Legends. Like from the beginning, they were trying to make it an esport, right?
Right.
And with WoW, they weren't really trying to make it an esport until now. So it's like, or
Also, I think you should also
a good
define what you mean by successful, though, because like comparing
Yeah, I guess
World of
true.
Warcraft to like League of Legends or Dota, like what do you mean by successful esport? Because like there's a lot of
A
esports, like
success-
Smite is
Viewership-
successful esport.
viewership
but,
counts and
yeah, but like
sponsors.
Smite doesn't get like pretty high numbers,
That's
but
a good
I
point.
would still consider that game a pretty successful esport. You know, they have the second highest prize pool ever. They have a really good pro league. The money's really good. You know.
So my definition of successful esport would be to be able to financially support players in a pro league. So like people literally make, like there's a large number of people that rely on the esports scene of the game for a job. That would be, to me, what is considered a successful esport. And I feel like
I think we all not to interrupt or anything, but like I think we all saw that potential at BlizzCon, especially like to just share a little moment. Like I was backstage. I did the queue up and stuff, the observer stuff for the games for the finals, and after the last final happened, like they got a kill, and then they got the other kill, and then like they're celebrating on stage. Like just looking backstage and looking at the crowd and like how excited everybody was. Like I remember like Soda or Alex like looked next to me. He's like, "Damn!" And like we both had this moment of like, "Holy shit!" Like this is what happens when there are people like Olivia Grace who like give a shit about WoW and WoW esports. Like you can see the potential there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And not to say that it's successful now because it's obviously not. There's too much wrong with the game, I think, to like make it super successful.
Yeah.
But I think in Legion, there's like that step forward. Like there's people that actually care, or seem like they care at least. We haven't obviously like experienced much of it.
So
but
do you think that
I
that's like the biggest thing that's holding us back is the in-game properties?
Yeah, because you're not gonna get lucky like Smash Good. You know what I mean?
Right.
Smash was never designed to be an esport, and the developers still don't want it to be an esport, but somehow it is an esport. You know what I
That's
mean?
like kind of like Hearthstone.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, exactly, Hearthstone. But like now Blizzard kind of supports that. If we don't have support from Blizzard, then it's never gonna be an esport. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the company has to make the changes and like put effort in. And I mean, obviously, Olivia Grace and you guys put a lot of effort into it, and you were hired by them. So
Yeah, there's definitely effort there, though I feel like there's also effort in the past that just was unforetold because, I mean, there was just the main aspects of the game would always take priority, right? So, I mean,
Yeah.
what do you think, Kubzy? What do you think's the biggest thing that holds us back?
Well, just need people to care and like watch it. I mean, they get just like decent viewers, so yeah, that's all that's really left. It's like Blizzard to do stuff. Like,
more tournaments.
Yeah, and more tournaments too. But I think like you got like a good shot and lead. It's gotta like do stuff.
I mean,
'Cause,
Yeah,
with
that's
those
a good point.
knobs they got there, you heard them talk about their balancing knobs. The game should be like, better. You'd hope, not worse anyway. So then maybe it'll be better to watch, more people care, and then it'll be better esport, and there'll be more people that have tournaments because it's less shitty.
Dude, this whiskey's
To
hitting me,
like go
dude.
off of what Joey said about more tournaments. So like it's no secret that I've been like searching out sponsors for certain teams, right? I feel like that's really important for this, for the community to grow, is that teams get sponsored by good esports organizations so that they can stay at home and play the game and practice and like do stuff like that and get supported. Also, it also stops. I mean, maybe not stops people, but it kind of gives people another option besides like piloting and stuff, which kind of ruins ladder and ruins the community.
Yeah.
And the biggest thing that I've run into is, well, how many tournaments are run each year? Because every major esports organization only knows Blizzard or BlizzCon.
Right.
And that's the one thing they ask me is like,
Yep.
well, what other tournaments are there? You know what I mean?
That's a really
So
good
if we had
point.
more like tournaments that were sponsored by Blizzard or like big enough to like get a sponsor's attention, then we could attract people to the sport.
Yeah, just like you, I have a lot of like big organizations that I can't really name, but big organizations that approach me and say, "Is this something that we should invest in?" And I'd be like, "Of course, yes. I'm super biased. Please invest in my community." And then they're like, "Oh, okay. So how many tournaments are there a year?" And I'm like, "Well, there's the qualifiers, and then there's regionals for every single region in the world, and then there's BlizzCon." And they're like, "Okay, and what else is there?" And they're like, because all I know about is BlizzCon. And I'm like, well, then there's GCD TV. And like, don't get me wrong, like we're great and all, but we're not what organizers are looking for. Not yet, anyway. Right? When we get the numbers, maybe we'll be what organizers look for. But I don't see those numbers coming without other attributes going into it. But I think that like the biggest thing that you guys have said so far was like the interest from Blizzard to continue to invest in the esports scene of World of Warcraft. And I think that the recent changes. Ow. I think the recent change in Joey's face.
Sorry, my microphone stopped working.
The bio break. The recent changes that recently were announced by Blizzard with the Legion PvP post, which I'll post in chat for you guys. I think that is a really good indication that they're giving a crap about PvP as well as esports. Like, I mean, there's indication that there's going to be changes to PvP balance changes. There's indication that the PvP seasons are going to be way shorter. Like a whole bunch of like big things that we've always been asking for that are finally here. And I think that that's like a really good indication of what to expect from Blizzard's interest in the future. Joey keeps laughing.
Whose mic is that?
My headset stopped working and I fucking had to. I'm sorry.
Okay, I'm hearing you echo. I think you have to mute go to meeting.
Yeah, me. There we
There
go.
we go.
Holy shit!
Yeah.
I thought I was going crazy.
I notice you,
My headset unplugged. It was my fault. I'm sorry.
Oh god.
So if Blizzard did get the attention of us and we got the attention of Blizzard and they wanted to support us as big as we wanted to support, what exactly would we ask for them at that point? Just more tournaments?
Yeah. And
Funding. Like when you think of every other, it's like, yeah, there's no esport that only has this like one tournament a year. It's like not a thing.
Yeah.
So that's
A
really,
tournament account.
It's a necessity.
A tournament realm, that'd be sick. So
Well, not even a tournament realm. Think about this, right? So the biggest hurdle right now for like EU and US coming together for tournaments, like obviously besides like the lag, but some teams do want to play with the lag. They don't care.
right.
The biggest thing is that there's no max characters or no US or EU accounts for people. If they just gave accounts to pro players, like let's say we get to a point to where if you make it in a certain league or you're a certain status, you get the pro level and they give you a account that all it can do is go to a tournament realm. And that way we can actually have like tournaments with US and EU, because I mean, if you want to boost viewer numbers, let's take advantage of that rivalry, right? EU versus US.
No, yeah, I'm completely agreeing. Like, I feel like Not only that, but I feel like there needs to be more community tournaments for EU. Like, I wish there was an EU GCD. Like, if I'm going to be completely honest with you guys, like, we've tried it. It's really freaking hard to do EU and NA tournaments at the same time. Maybe one day we'll be able to hire some people to help us out. We could do EU tournaments, but if we had EU tournaments going on and NA tournaments going on, and they were actually able to have a finals without going to LAN, it would be, like, surreal. But I don't know. It's gonna be difficult, especially with, like, there's always going to be that thing in the background like that. Like the issue of the MS and someone always getting an advantage. But I mean, I don't know. Maybe one day. But I don't know. Did you guys see recently what Blizzard was, I think, speculating? I'm not sure if it's confirmed yet, but it was like multiple Heroes of the Storm tournaments throughout the year, not just BlizzCon. They were going to have $250,000 tournaments, like 3 of them each year. And
Oh wow.
So like that's basically what you guys are requesting.
That would be good. If there's just one for like each season in WoW or something.
Well, the seasons of WoW are going to drop significantly shorter in Legion. So that might be crazy. That might be like 2 months a tournament.
But I mean, right now, like that was the thing. It's like each season for the past while has been like half a year almost. So it's like.
And it doesn't even have to be like LANs would be perfect, right? It'd be great if it was LAN, but if it was just one big Blizzard sponsored tournament, even on like a the internet or whatever online, like both EU and US, that'd be good. We need to incorporate other regions in, because like I think there's a big market with the Chinese players and the Korean players, because like just being at BlizzCon and being around those players, like people are hyped on those dudes. Like the Chinese players, especially the Chinese team, people are hyped on them. If they had,
of course,
if they had a better bracket, like they could have done really well. You know what I mean?
Even 3 tournaments a year is garbage? I don't think so. $25,000 times 3 per year. But you gotta understand,
dude, it's way better than now.
That's not just one tournament. That's also qualifiers. That's also regionals. That's also like a BlizzCon size tournament. It's not when you say 3 tournaments a year, you literally mean like 4 events per tournament. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot that goes into. And I think 3 tournaments a year is not only that, but like you talk about like the $250,000 prize pools, but you also have to take into consideration the amount of investment it would take to put on a professional broadcast that they'd want to put their name on. That's going to be a lot of money too. Like to ask for more than 1 tournament a year is a crap ton of investment. Don't get me wrong. We're all very, very passionate about what it is that we want to do. We're all very passionate about WoW Esports, but from a business point of view, it doesn't necessarily make 100% sense yet, but it's getting there.
There's a lot more that goes into it than like what people think. And I mean, if you look at like other esports, they don't have that many tournaments. I mean, there's like IEM.
Right.
What's the one that always happens in Europe?
ESL.
ESL, yeah. And then there's like, well, for League, it's like LCS is the main thing, but there's not that many like big LAN tournaments.
I feel like they lose money on that too, but they make it up like somewhere else. You know what I mean? Like,
dude,
it's worth it to them. It's worth it to them.
Almost all of those events lose money. It's like paying for advertising. Like you don't see like if I pay for a commercial for GCD TV, I'm not instantly going to get money back instantly. You know what I mean? I'm going to get exposure, and it's going to help grow my momentum of my game.
It's an investment.
Exactly. But like, does the investment merit the money? And you guys are saying like Blizzard has enough money, blah blah blah. They're a business. Like they spend money and they make money. You know what I mean? It's not like they just have money to burn. Like they're a business. They have overhead, and
but they're a publicly traded company, and like they have stockholders. Like you're gonna go in that stock meeting and be like, "Hey, well, we're gonna have tournaments that lose us money, and we're not gonna get any back." They're gonna be like, "Fuck this." You know what I mean? Like
Riot for LOL lost money each tournament in the first season and openly admit. The thing is that Riot was all in on their esports scene because that's all their game is. Like World of Warcraft, everyone always forgets World of Warcraft. It is not a PvE specific game. It's got a lot.
It's like 90% PvE. And then there's like, it's too hard to get into. I think the problem with WoW is like it's too hard to get into PvP. It's like there's so much. Yeah. It's way too hard to follow if you don't actually play the game. There needs to be some way that like something that like attracts people to play arena and RPGs and stuff, because it's like it's way too hard to follow for like even like for me when I'm watching like BlizzCon, without mods it'd be really hard to follow what's going on. Like without all the extra stuff on the screen, it would be really hard to follow what's going on.
Yeah.
And with like League, it's a lot easier to follow if you just don't have any idea what's going on. Or like CS:GO, or I don't know. I always jump to League because it's like the biggest one, but yeah.
Of course. Yeah. So this is, I'm going to update the topic of discussion for you guys so you know exactly what's going on.
If you think about it though, like WoW subs are at all time low, 5.6 million, right? That last quarterly, the call or whatever.
Yep.
Still, 5.6 million like subscribers is a crazy number. Like everybody's like, oh well, WoW's dying because the numbers are low, but like 5.6 million is a fucking shit ton of people. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and then like
How do
many
we
of
even
those PvP?
like? Yeah.
Though?
How do we? No, but that's what I'm saying. Like, how do we tap into that like very large majority that don't PvP?
I think
Because
that,
like, if we could tap into like even half of that, the sport gets huge. You know what I mean?
yeah.
But it's a problem because
it's a good point. Like
the majority of those people are casual.
Yeah, but they'd still like. How do we make our broadcasts accessible and entertaining enough for them to even enjoy it? And I think a big way for them to be introduced to them is to show them events that they're familiar with. Like, I'd love to do challenge mode races, but there's no way that I can do that right now. There's just no way.
It's just not possible.
Yeah, so it's not about the size of the player base; it's about the size of the player base that left in a short amount of time. Yeah, I suppose like you can have that insight, but I really don't think the rest of the people that use that as an example are having such an insight. Like, I mean, yes, a lot of people left. We're not trying to downsize that at all, but at the same time, people I feel like are overreacting quite a bit to those numbers. Not to mention
Also,
where
keep in
exactly
mind-
those numbers came from.
Those numbers. Oh, keep in mind that the subs are mostly from China too.
Diablo 3 finally came out for China because there's all those bones and religious reasons, and it finally came out. And the way that subs in China's works is that they sub for each hour. So if they're all playing Diablo 3 because it just came out after years of anticipation, and 1 hour goes by, their sub runs out, and all of a sudden you lose millions of people. And like if you look at the demographic, that was a big part of the chunks that subs. Now at the same time, I'm not trying to use that as justification because there is a significant drop in activity.
Yeah, WoD sucks.
WoD sucks.
WoD
Don't get me
sucks.
wrong. Dude, like, you nailed the head. You hit the nail on the head with that. But
Yeah, it's WoD.
It sucks.
It sucks.
apparently
The
your
game
CDU's
sucks.
long lost brother. So guys, if
Am
you
I
have any
Chuck
questions
Dillon?
for us, just keep them in the back of your head, and we're gonna actually take call-ins at the end of the show on Discord. So make sure that if you have any questions that you want us to answer on stream, just to save that, and we'll get you in here to talk to us as well. But
I have a question for Kubzy. I'm curious,
shoot
real
it.
quick.
Sure.
How did you enjoy? Like, did you enjoy? And I guess Joey can answer this too. Like, the process at regionals and at BlizzCon. Do you feel like it was really professional? Like the broadcast, like how people like handled you, and like.
Yeah,
Did you-
this year compared to last year was actually the biggest difference ever. Like last year, they ship me to New York. I get off my plane. I like go wandering in the streets, find a taxi, get to some hotel, and then like 6 hours later, I go down to a lobby, and then they give me like a ticket, and then it's just like a weekend, and I go to this basement, and then all the games are played in this basement. There's not even like a stage. You don't even move to play your games, and I just play my games in the basement, lose instantly, and go home. And then this year it's like you're there for like three days early. They take like pictures and stuff, and there's like a booth, and it's just like it was actually so much better than last year. Like,
Good.
and then BlizzCon too. Like, literally everything like was more professional. And like last year, like there was hardly even like food. Like there was food at the event, but it was just like snack bars, and then
Yo, BlizzCon food, the catered food first week was, that was some good shit. I'm not gonna lie.
Regionals
everything
was
was
good.
It was really good.
The only event I've ever been to, other than regionals, was MLG 2010, and there was no food, there was no pictures, there was nothing. Like, I
Yeah.
literally, like, this is how I got in. I like walked in the door, and they asked me if I was a pro player, and I said yes. They gave me a wristband, and I was able to go past this little like ribbon, and there was like just like 100 computers set up in an area in the back corner, and I just played. I played next to everyone that was playing, so it was basically like regionals last year. It was like completely unprofessional compared to regionals this year. Regionals this year was like so like surreal. It was really weird. Like it was really cool. Like I didn't expect it to be that like
felt
professional
important.
and stuff. Yeah,
Right.
I felt really, really
We're a
important.
pro. That's what it felt
It
like.
boosted my
Pro.
self confidence a lot.
Yeah.
That makes me feel really good
No.
too.
Yeah, it was really cool. But yeah, I went to regionals 2014 just to, like as a spectator, and it was like you said, it was in a basement, and there was hardly like, I don't know, there was like hardly any seats for you to spectate. was one screen, and everyone was playing next to each other. It was really weird.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. And then, you know, that is because there's people that care. Like, there's a lot of people that just entered the fray and really do give a crap about the future of WoW Esports, but also like the players in general. And there's a lot of people, and I think a lot of that has to do with people respecting you guys too. Like, if you have someone who's in charge of that sort of thing, and they know what it is you're capable of, and they know what it is you do, and they're familiar with what it is they do, they're going to be like, oh, these guys are top tier. Treat them as such. You know what I mean? So I think that was really cool. But all right, let's switch up the topic of discussion to reasoning for roster swaps. I know you guys are just absolutely so excited to talk about this.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So do you want to start with you, Joey? So recently you replaced Majidin on the roster of Method Black. Do you want to tell us a little bit about why that happened and how you think it's improved your team?
Well, if I'm being honest, I was confronted. So, I mean, I didn't really have a solid team to begin with, so I just decided to take the offer.
Ooh.
I don't think much has changed with the team, to be honest. Like, I added a couple classes that maybe the team didn't have before, but overall the team's pretty much the same. I think Magedin's pretty good, and I mean, they won without me, and then they lost with me, so I don't know. Well, we'll see what comes in the few weeks, the few next tournaments.
Yeah, that being said, though, that coincidence of you losing after getting hopped onto the roster, there was also changes to the game as well. So, I mean,
yeah,
it's really hard to take the two performances.
Shadow Priests are pretty good.
In full gear.
They're pretty good, I think.
But, I don't know.
Instant casts. Anyway.
All right, Kubzy, can you tell us a little bit about Goreki's addition to the roster?
Well, obviously, we're definitely just looking for the best fourth we thought for our team, since we only had 3. So we had a lot of options, but we figured, you know, Greg is probably maybe the best player in the game right now. Plays like everything we need. We need a Shadow Priest. Boomkin was good, and then, you know, Warlock was good. So he plays those 3 really well. Unfortunately, like you can't really make use of the fact that he plays healers, but I thought I'd just focus more on playing healers and he could focus more on his DPS. And so, you know, but I think we both multi-class like very, very well.
Yeah.
I haven't played that much other stuff recently because of like regionals and stuff. Since we only had RMD, it's like I only had to practice Druid, but now I'm starting to bring out the other stuff again, and I think we're just going to be adding more and more comps like every month or so. So I think by the end of WOD, we'll have like pretty much every viable comp covered, and I think it'll be very good.
Yeah, and I mean, like, you guys proven time and time again that not only can you guys play other comps, but you can play them under pressure, like in a tournament scenario. And I think that's a rarity in our community now, but it's been awesome so far. Like, when I saw Goreki add onto the roster Cloud9, I really had no idea what to expect because Goreki, when I was familiar with him, he was a hunter. And then all of a sudden he was a warlock. And then all of a sudden he was a warlock. And then all of a sudden he was a shaman. And so when he was added to your roster, I had no idea what to expect. Because like every single time currently in World of Warcraft, when you see roster changes, the first thing that you think of in your head is like, oh, they're looking to play X composition. But like when Goreki was added to Cloud9, the mindset that you guys had was, oh, we're going to play all the compositions. And like that's really cool, and I think that's really unique to the rest of the community. But how do you think that Goreki is going to be going into Legion? Do you think Legion, now that I guess this is kind of like skipping ahead, but like there's no real way to determine what comps are going to be the best and everything like that. So if teams are preparing for Legion, the only thing they really can do is make themselves as versatile as possible. But do you think that you and Goreki going into Legion is going to be like the wonder team, or how do you think Legion's going to work out for you guys?
I think we have like a very bright future. Like we're both still very young, and I don't know. I think like we're both probably like some of the best multi-classes in the game, and then plus it's really like we have a really solid mage and wealthy man, and you know, that's kind of like been a pinnacle for the last little while. Like you kind of need a mage on most teams, and so I think that, you know, coming into Legion, we should do like very well. I'd say definitely be one of the best teams in the world.
Okay, I want Elb's insight. Elb has a very large insight on the entire community, and I wanted to know how scary do you think Goreki, Kubzy, and Cloud9 is going to be going into Legion?
I mean, right away, like when the roster addition, like when it was announced, like I'm pretty sure all of us were like, "Oh, he instantly makes them better," right? They go from a one-dimensional like RMD into like almost every comp in the game, right? I mean, I'm pretty sure Goreki is the best at multi-classing by far. I think we all agree about that, and it's not just because like he's really quick at learning the classes, which he really is. Like I don't know if learning mage. He's actually doing really well on it. It's just like Goreki thinks the game. Like, okay, why is my mic loud now?
It changed.
It kind of, I don't know.
It's not me. My mic is not me. That's you, David. That
What?
mic's loud.
I didn't touch anything, man. It was fine a second ago.
My mic has stayed.
Oh, now
at this
you
level.
fixed it.
I've done nothing. That's on your end.
What the fuck? I don't even know.
But yeah, I really feel like, I mean, he just adds that extra dimension to Cloud9. And I mean, if they need if like so if something like the Arcane Mage, I mean, this isn't really a good example. When Baby Michael was like ruining the ladder with Arcane Mage, right? He just like had that crazy thing going on. This was happening when we went to the opening week of BlizzCon, right? So like we're all there, and this was happening on the ladder. But if something like that happens with a class that no one really plays, like Goreki could be that guy to play that class, and it'd be an OP comp. You know what I mean?
So I don't know, like, oh man, you're so low now, Joey. What is happening?
It's Discord, I think.
How about
man.
now? Is sound better?
Yeah, it's perfect.
It's because my headset unplugged. Yeah, he's a pretty good player.
Okay, cool. The biggest thing that I wanted to take from that discussion was talking a little bit about how the mindset of the community is slowly changing, I think. Like, people are adding other people to rosters, not just because they have the viable comps, but also because they are versatile as well, and I think it's really cool. I think that's another reason why you were probably picked up too, Joey. It's because you were really good at mage, but you also had some other variety to you.
I'm great enhancement shaman. Honestly, I'm 1-0 at regionals, so you know.
There it is.
Yeah.
All
Ever
right.
need an enhancement shaman, you know, ask me.
All right, we're gonna jump into the next topic of discussion, which is the finals in the tournament format of the GPL. So, if you guys aren't familiar with it, the way that our finals work at the moment is that we don't give any advantage. Well, I mean, there is an advantage, but we don't give any additional advantage to the team that makes it to the finals in a double elimination tournament without losing. The advantage that we gave them, or the advantage that we thought was okay, was that they didn't have to play the additional series in the lower bracket to make it to the finals. But a lot of players have voiced their opinions and said that they personally preferred it another way. So we actually held a poll. In the three decisions that were tied, they were actually still tied at the moment, was one, to have 2 best-of-5 series instead of 1. So the winner has actually another opportunity to lose the series. Or 2, 1 best-of-7 series. That's it, just 1 best-of-7 series. Or the third option was also a best-of-7 series, but the winner, the team that comes through the winner's bracket to get to the finals, actually has a 2-0 lead going into that series, which is a format option that we stole from MLG. So I just want
I lost because of that. Sorry, I wanted to interrupt you and say that. I lost because of that in MLG 2010. Go on.
Yeah. So that being said, I just want to hear your guys' opinion for it, but not only just your opinion, but explanation to why you feel that way. And Kubzy.
Well, I think the thing that's wrong about how it is now is because you can, like, okay, for instance, the first tournament that we lost, we had a winning record against every team that we played against in that tournament. Like, we did not have a losing record to any team, but we lost the tournament. And so it's just like, sometimes you feel kind of cheesed when it's like, because we beat that team in the upper bracket, and so it's like, everything can go so well, and then it's just like such a short series in the finals that it really felt like our tournament, and then it just wasn't all of a sudden well, everyone else had like this lower bracket. So there needs to be like some sort of thing, some sort of like safety net, I think, for
Well,
it's
there
not
was
really that fair when you're like, you know, and then all of a sudden the finals come and it's not double elim anymore, you know.
there was also another thing that happened, but I agree with them.
So that's
Something
like,
happened with gear.
Yeah, something did happen with that. Yeah.
oh yeah. I feel you, dog. But yeah, that was kind of like the consensus that I've got from most players is that they might be empathetic to like having the 2 series, which kind of almost like put the dampener on the finals, like from a spectator point of view, but they also felt like the advantage was significant enough to having that additional series. But at the same time, they also felt like the winning team deserved an additional advantage going into the finals. They definitely felt like they deserved an advantage. But do you think that 2-0 MLG advantage is significant enough of an advantage?
Definitely. If that was the choice that you were going to make, like for the tournament advantage, it'd definitely be enough.
Well, I mean, right now I'm kind of like leaving it up to the community to decide. When I say the community, I mean specifically the players competing, and at the moment it's tied, so we still have to make the decision.
You just don't want too long of a series, like
Yeah.
because if it's too long, it's gonna just be boring. Because it's, well,
Yeah, if we
You
want to
know.
grow an esport, you can't just. I mean, you can't. As bad as it sounds and as shitty as it is, you just can't have the most fair rules sometimes because it's not fun to watch at all.
yeah. Best of, like, for example, my series in the qualifiers, the first qualifiers was best of 7, and people had to watch 12-minute games, like every single. It was like 6 games, and they're all 12 minutes long plus 12 plus. It was like 15, I think some of them were, and nobody wanted to watch that. And you don't want that in a tournament
Yeah.
because it's just like everyone's spamming Resident Sleeper, and
Of
you
course,
just it's
yeah.
boring for everyone.
I mean, you always want to
I
find that
almost-
like that in between, right? Go ahead, sorry, Kubzy.
Yeah, I almost don't like the 2 advantage because I feel like the point of the like of this advantage should be to like eliminate the randomness that comes from the finals, and like that also kind of there's like a randomness. There's like the reason that's bad is the same reason why we don't do best of 3s. Is because like getting 2 wins can be like fluky, but now it's like, and like even the 1 best of 5 can be like kind of fluky too. But then if you have like the 2, you know, it's like
2-0 advantage. I mean,
the 2-0 advantage. Yeah, it's just like.
Yeah. It'd have to be a best of 7 series if it was 2-0 advantage.
Even if it's still a 2-0, you only need like 2 wins, so it's essentially the same thing as like a best of 3. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like,
Yeah.
That's why I don't like that so much, is because it feels like too big.
Too big of an advantage.
And you can
Yeah.
play badly in the finals and still win.
It is a pretty.
I really
big-
like the comp advantage because you don't realize how
Oh,
big
yeah.
of a deal comp advantage is. Like,
That was another
at
option. I forgot I
regionals-
added that.
yeah, at regionals, having comp advantage was actually such a big deal because certain things couldn't beat other comps that teams could run, and that's kind of the reason my team lost at regionals. It's because we couldn't play LSD3 into jungle because we would just lose, and since they had the comp advantage, we were forced to run a bad comp into their FLS, Absurge FLS, and we just lost because of that pretty much.
So just to add some context to the viewers that are watching, there was actually another option in the poll that I added that I thought was pretty brilliant at the time, which actually gave me the idea of the MLG and the other options, was to actually give the winner who's going into that series the composition advantage. So if you don't know how the format currently works in GCD, the way it works is that Grand Arena is the very first map because it's very even, and then both teams blind pick a composition into that match. Then the loser of said match then gets to lock in a comp or lock in a map preemptively, gets to hear what comp they're facing, then lock in their own comp. And that loser advantage would be given to the winner of the finals as their winner advantage going through that winner bracket. And that actually got quite a few votes as well. And what do you think about that? Is that significant? Like, it's not as significant as enough as like the 2 wins in the best of 7, but is it significant enough to give an adequate advantage for the winner bracket, Kubzy?
I think it's like I think that'd be good. I think that'd be my pick along with I think I like either that or just the 2 best of 5s, because it's kind of like it's just a little advantage, but it's still like, you know, it's like it doesn't like it's not that big of a swing where like one team will just have that advantage and win because of it.
Right.
So I think it's good. I also think the best of five is good. Best one's good, kind of like for the viewers in terms of it's not like so long. If it's like might be less boring and like two best of fives
Right.
finals like that.
I think that we all are kind of on the same
choice.
boat, saying that the two best of fives is probably like the fairest. But at the same time, no one wants to play that much games, and no one wants to watch that much games. So we're trying to figure out like a good harmony between the two. And I don't know. Maybe the game's fast enough to accommodate two best of fives. What do you think, Elb?
Well, this is the thing though, right? Like two best of fives, even if it was like 1 minute games, it's like you win a best of five series, and then we're like, oh, that wasn't really a finals. We're gonna go to a finals.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's just very like it's underwhelming for fans, right? So if you're just a person in chat watching, like I'm here for the finals, then like the finals end, and it's like, and now on to our next finals, and you're like what the fuck? I thought I just watched it. Because you gotta understand, like some people might walk away from the computer, they might go somewhere else, and then they come back, and the finals are on again. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so. I think that why not best of seven finals? I think that we're going to be transitioning to best of seven finals, but specifically how. And I want the entire competitive community, like the top end players who are competing, to all be on the same page to what we feel is the best option. And we're still kind of deciding that. So right now, we feel like the top three contenders for what the players have chosen have: one, been the two best of five series; two, a 2-0 advantage with a best of seven series, and the three, a best of seven series, but you get the winner bracket gets a composition advantage for game number one.
I like the composition advantage for game one.
So
I think it's exciting too.
Yeah, it's interesting.
It also adds, you can add like a twist to it, right? So teams that don't have the advantage, right, they came from the losers bracket, they could think of a comp that they don't really think can be countered, and try and mind game with the team that is going to try and counter their comp. So there's just a little bit more like mind game players.
Yeah, for sure. We'll definitely come back to that. The tournament format changes as there's more and more people voting on that poll, because as we're talking about it, I see more people voting. So we'll come back to that and see what comes of it. But that poll is sent specifically only to the players. So we'll come back to that. So up next, topic of discussion is the bots and whatnot. And obviously we know that botting is bad. Obviously we know everyone does not like facing a freaking bot. It is like the stupidest thing ever to face. But what is it that we can actually do? Like, what is it that you guys would want Blizzard to do in this scenario to get rid of the bots?
It's kind of hard. Because, like, when I first think of, like, people accusing people of botting, I think of qualifiers from my team, like the old method, when I used to play with Gorecki and Citrix. People would accuse like both of them of botting. So like, and they obviously didn't, and they don't, never have. So like, how do you know for sure? Because everyone was so certain that Gorecki was a bot and a kick bot, and he did all this scripting and shit. So I don't understand what I don't know what people could. I don't know what Blizzard could do to like lock that down.
Well, there's that sense, but then there's also like these FLS teams that bot on the ladder. That's the most obvious thing ever.
That's a little different, I guess. But
I know. Yeah, but the thing, Blizzard has this mindset that they can just ban bots every 6 months, and that's good for that. But that works for like honor buddy leveling and stuff. Like that's the best way for Blizzard to handle that stuff. But when it comes to like these FLS teams botting in Arena, these teams actually just need to instantly get banned. Like when they get reported, like that needs to happen so fast. Like that's like what will actually make them stop. Not like the 6 months bans for Arena, because like Blizzard has the mindset that it's not like that, because of in other games of the other aspects of the game it kind of like isn't like that. So,
well, I think the problem is that they clearly don't have a good system and like
detection
dealing with cheaters. Yeah. They need. I mean, if WoW PvP is going to be serious in WoW Esports, they need a dedicated team or a dedicated department just to cheating on the ladder, because. Like, people get really upset at Blizzard for being slow about everything, but Blizzard is a giant company with a lot of divisions and a lot of, it's a bureaucracy, basically. So, right, there's a lot of things you have to red tape you have to go through. So, like, get somebody banned, it's a huge process, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
I mean, like,
they need a dedicated team to that. So, slows down or speeds up the process a little bit.
I mean, they have
Just
their
ban
own
people.
risk team. They have a team already, but what I think that's actually happening is that there's a type of botting or type of scripting that is somehow eluding the ways that they normally would detect them from catching them. And I don't know if adding more muscle to that is going to be how they discover a way to detect them more, because like I feel like most of the time that people are getting banned, like known botters are getting banned and they're coming back and be like, oh, I got botted for XXX, and it's never botting. I got banned for not botting, even though that's why I was known for. So I feel like a lot of the times they're like finding ways to get around botting bad people when it's not botting. And I feel like it's got to be legal issues. There's got to be something legally that's stopping Blizzard from banning them, specifically from, and apparently like VODs and stuff aren't enough proof. There's a new add-on going around. Did you guys see the anti-bot add-on?
Yeah, I saw that.
What do you guys think of that?
I haven't looked at it. Someone linked it to me, and I kind of like skimmed through it.
It's a good idea, but there's also, there's people in the community that are gonna look at that add-on and try and find ways around it, right?
Yeah, I suppose like the way around it, I mean, the way that it works is that it actually detects like how fast you're actually kicking, so like the millisecond reaction time that you have, and see if it's even human. And then another way that it does it is it takes all of the kicks throughout the game and sees when they're actually happening to determine a pattern. And even if like I feel like, and like basically what they said is if they like make a program that has like randomized kick patterns, that is like such an intuitive program that they feel like botters wouldn't, like someone who could create that would be wasting their time with making a bot instead of like working at like a company or something. That's like the justification for that. But I think you're right. I think that of course they're going to adapt.
Honor Buddy makes a lot of money. They're fine. They won't care. They'll spend the time to do it.
Yeah, they're getting sued by Blizzard right now, and they're still around. You know what I mean? Like, if you're getting sued by a gigantic company for putting a bot, you somehow have enough assets to be able to maintain and adapt accordingly.
Dude, people love cheating. We're human beings. Like, they love cheating to win. It's
Not
the
everyone
easy way
likes
out. Not everybody, but in general, like not even cheating as in like kickbox or whatever.
I do,
but a ton of people use Honor Buddy to. I mean, okay, I'm not gonna say anything, but I know a lot of people that use Honor Buddy just to get gear, and it's like,
of course,
Well, that's a different problem, though. That's a completely different issue.
Yeah. I think that I'm really happy about how the community is moving forward with it. I mean, there's been a lot of individual players that like are respected in the community that are playing with another bot, and like the community's kind of holding them accountable. They're like, why are you playing with them? Like, you're better than that. Don't play with bots. And like, I think that like the way that the community is looking at those people, and then of course you see like the triple botting teams that you can't really hold accountable because they don't care. But like, I think that that's like kind of like the ideology that the rest of the community, including the RBG community, kind of needs to adapt, which is the RBG leaders shouldn't be inviting bots. Like, just because someone else is botting doesn't mean you add bots to compete with them, because then you're not even playing the game anymore. Like, what? Like, what's the point? I just wish that everyone had that same ideology and held each other accountable, and I feel like it would fix a lot of the problems, but of course we need Blizzard's help as well moving forward. But I don't know. When it comes to
community, I mean, a community change would obviously be the best solution, right? Nobody plays with bots anymore, but you can't. It's almost an impossible solution.
That's not gonna happen.
Yeah, you can't stop people from playing with scumbags. It's never gonna happen.
Oh yeah, the Honor Buddy's also suing Blizzard in Germany. I heard about that as well because that's where Honor Buddy's from. But I heard that their case is like horrible. Like Honor Buddy's case in that lawsuit is like really, really bad. It's almost like a countersuit to give themselves a bit more merit. If you read articles on it. Yeah,
I think they threw it out of court.
This is the third time they've thrown it out. Like, they literally have nothing, but it's just gonna take time before. I feel like that's the way to actually fix it, is if they literally just take them all down. But I'm not completely familiar with how the new scripts work, because there's Honor Buddy bots, and then there's scripters.
They should. One thing they can do is make it easier to report people, because I know people are using scripts or bots or whatever, and I just don't care enough to report them. Like, to go through all the. Like, you have to go through so many tabs and stuff, and it's just like so irritating. I'm really lazy, so when I want to report someone, I have to care a lot about this person, like want to get them banned. And if they made it easier, I would report them a lot more often, and they'd get reported so much more.
Right.
I also
There'd
know
be
a
so
lot
much
of
more
players,
evidence.
and I know a lot of players that have bitched about it on Twitter and they've complained about it on streams or whatever. And when asked what they've done about it, they said, "Well, I botted it, and I've tweeted it." Well, Blizzard has given you an email, and maybe we should make that like more clear, and Blizzard should make that more clear, and
the
give them
hacks at
like
Blizzard.com.
yeah, and give them guidelines on how to actually send an email to them and what they should include.
Include it in the
Because
game.
yeah, well, in the game would be the best case scenario, right? But if you do have a VOD of it, like I think it's irresponsible if people to bitch about it and tweet about it and then not actually go through with it and email them. You know what I mean?
I didn't tweet about it. I just complained about it personally, like, just to my friends.
Yeah, I'm not saying you. I'm just saying I see a lot of players. Bitch about it in stream, and it's just like there's an
Holinka.
easy way. You email them.
Yeah, I don't.
Why are these people
you know
still
what-
playing the game?
You know what Holinka does when you tweet at him about that? He sends it to the people who
Ignores.
that's that job. Like he's like, email this to hacks@blizzard.com. And that Risk Team actually does own, but like I said, there's legal issues that they run into. Like a VOD of someone kickbotting isn't adequate enough proof. It just isn't. And they see the VOD and then they go and they follow the account and then they can take action watching at what their account does. But there's specific ways like scripting that just seem like they're not enough. Like it just seems like we need to find different ways of tracking it, and I don't know exactly how. That's kind of like how do we help Blizzard catch the people who are scripting? Is my
You hire the
question to you
people.
guys.
You hire the famous scripters.
Stuff like mods, like the guy that you were talking about earlier, the mod that person made, that's a really good example of something that they can do. Because I don't want to like call anyone out, but there was a notorious kickbotter, and everyone that played at a high level knew the person, and he didn't get banned for like I don't know how many months he used it, but it's like when it's that obvious, something should be done about it like way quicker than it when it happened. And stuff like the mod, like I haven't used the mod and I don't know anything about it, but like the way you explained it sounds pretty good way to detect something like that.
Yeah, I don't know, like, shouldn't they just be able to ban people for like whatever, whenever? So like when they see these
that's
super
kind of
obvious
like-
FLS teams.
That's kind of like what their terms of service say, but at the same time,
Yeah.
there's like a fine line, like legally, to like what it
Not
is.
even legally though. Just if you think about it, right? Obviously, we know who bots and scripts, and like we're pissed at them because we're in the community, and it's really annoying to us and stuff like that.
Right.
But if you're a Blizzard employee and you don't know anything about this, you probably don't PvP, right? You probably don't PvP. You're just a Blizzard employee. You have to think about it like this, where you're getting these reports and you're looking at this thing and you're like, is this person really botting? Do I really want to ban this account right now and ruin this person's, like, I mean, not say life, but their play, ruin their game stuff? Or, yeah, you know what I mean? So that's a shitty excuse, I know, but that's probably what they're thinking, because they're not in the community. They don't understand. They're getting hacked on and stuff all, like, every game.
Most people will just come back though, and they'll start.
That's the problem, though, right? It's too easy to make another account and then boost
Yeah.
it.
I mean,
And then there is
I feel like
issues with IP bans too, because like IP bans are pretty vague. Like you can IP ban someone, and that might IP ban like an entire apartment complex. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like because they can't IP ban just a specific IP. You just reset your modem. Of course not. They have to IP ban like an area, and that's like a big deal.
Honestly, you can't really stop them because like if you look at, I always look at League, but people script in League and they're like you can't always detect it. You can't always stop it.
Well,
You always
CS:GO,
see big
right?
streamers complaining about it.
Yeah, CS:GO, like the Valve anti-cheat
Yeah,
system. or whatever.
CS:GO as well.
It happens all the time.
People were hacking on LAN. Like they like had a program in their key, like built into their keyboard or something. I read about it, and the person or the team or whatever were using hacks to like win LAN tournaments. So it's like it's not just a WoW thing, but it's really hard to stop, especially on a game like WoW, because there's so many aspects to the game where you can't really check everything off. There's always something that's going to go unchecked.
Yeah, I mean, I want to be able to add additional help to Blizzard to be able to catch these people, but I feel like at the same time, there's something that we don't know about. There's something that we as a community keep speculating on, whether or not what Blizzard can or cannot do. And
Yeah.
I mean, like to think that like they're purposely allowing these bots to go free is kind of like ignorant. You know what I mean? But not only that, I mean, these guys, they're like actual people. Like but
that's a popular choice, though. You know what I mean? It's popular for me to tweet like Blizzard doesn't give a fucking care about the game. They just want our money. Blah blah blah. They don't give a fuck. That's popular, right? It's the easiest thing to say. It's that's the
So people say after they just lost to the team that
they're pissed.
It's like
they get angry.
And then like they base their argument on speculation that they made themselves like a week ago, like without any
tinfoil hat theories, dude. Yeah, it's a tinfoil hat theory, which
I suppose like I just wanted the community to be a bit more positive on the situation and want to help and want to like kind of come together as like a team instead of just like pointing fingers because it's just not productive at all. But I've been absolutely
well, they can police themselves. Let's police the community. If you know this guy kickbots, don't play with him. Right? There's enough non-kickbotters and scripters out there that you can find teammates. And if those kickbotters don't have teammates, they'll have shittier teammates, right? If you're not playing with them.
And then you run into the very rare situation that is that three player FLS. And like if it was
and they're just shitty people.
Like can you guys recall any other team in the entire game that has 3 players kickbotting and like or 3 players that are okay with kickbotting?
I'm sure it happened. I'm sure it happened back in the day when I was when I was like 15 and I was playing in Wrath. You play against those TSGs that were just gods. They'd always own you in like season 8, but like because you know how there was like the GCG hack or whatever. Yeah. People always use that. You can never detect that though.
I'm like, wait, we had a hack? Wait, what?
and to be honest, they probably don't even care. Like they probably don't kickbot to win anymore. It's just
they're just trolls.
It's like, yeah, you're just trying to get a rise out of the community because it does. It gets a rise out of the community. And it's fun to watch people rage when you kickbot against them at this point.
Okay.
WoW is entertainment.
All right, guys, we're gonna change the topic of discussion again. But I really enjoyed that one. This topic of discussion is NA versus EU, and I know there's so many of you in chat that are just absolutely so excited for this topic of discussion. Actually, the amount of like backlash I got about this topic of discussion has been more than any other topic, and I think it's because of like the recent rivalry, not with the teams, but with the chatters. Like the NA versus EU like Twitch chat is kind of awful, I have to say, and. But good luck, moderators. I believe in you. But we're going to talk about it a little bit. And I guess the first thing that we can talk about is why is there such a big rivalry between NA versus EU? And I want to ask Kubzy. It might be an obvious question, but I just want someone with some merit to answer it.
Oh, it's just like the 2 biggest regions. People don't play against them that often, and then so it's just like hypes up, and all the streamers, you got the EU streamers, the NA streamers, so, and then the rare occasion that like an NA player plays on EU or an EU player plays on US, it's like everyone just wants to think that their region's better. Every loss, they're like, ooh, greater than EU, or other way around. So yeah, I guess that's why.
Yeah,
well, everyone to a small portion, like everyone has a small bit of nationalism inside them, they're nationalists. So they have a bit of pride in like being from the NA, and like, yeah, man, NA is the best, or EU is the best. That's the thing. Everybody has that, Even if you like, let's just say take United States for example, since I'm in the US. Like, I don't agree with a lot of things that happens in the US, but if I see the US team playing somebody else, I instantly turn into a different person. I'm like, fuck yeah, go USA, dude. Fuck every other country, right? Like during the Olympics and shit, I don't care about half the sports that are going on, right? Like curling and stuff. Does anybody actually watch that unless you're Canadian? But I'll watch the damn USA curling team because they better fucking win. You know what I mean? That's just what's inside of us. And when it comes to like PvP and stuff, there's not really
Very
US.
Well
it's NA versus EU.
I like that. I like that.
People are egotistical.
Yeah, that's true too. That's absolutely true. What's your take on the whole situation, Joey?
People are very egotistical, and there's no border, there's no bridge that like connects the 2 regions, so you can't play against each other. And they develop, like, the metagame develops individually on both sides, so the top players are obviously going to think, oh well, we're way ahead of NA or we're way ahead of EU because so and people are just naturally egotistical. Like you have confidence in yourself, more than you would someone else. So it's just like that's pretty much it.
Okay. So why do you think it's developed into this like almost toxic Twitch chat scenario? Because of the egotisticalness? That's even a word.
Just because it's Twitch chat. That's what.
Because
Twitch
they
chat
take
is.
their anger out on other people because they don't like the way the game is or other reasons. It's not necessarily about WoW. It's just about
Oh, interesting.
the person.
Because they also get a response about it in chat. You get a
That's
response
true.
instantly in chat.
That's true. You're getting a response out of me. I mean, obviously, I'm a little irritated with it, right?
It's just trolling.
If I'm
That's all
mad
it
about
is.
something, like, I don't know, say I get in an argument with my friend and I play a game of WoW and I'm like, wow, this game is absolute shit and I just lost to this team. I'm going to go talk about it and I'm going to go tell this other team that they're really bad. But I'm not actually mad about them. I'm mad about something else. And that's
Mhm.
kind of what happens in WoW. Is it's just a way to release your frustration.
Okay. I suppose that we shouldn't really transition from that because I really like how you left that off into the second part of that question, because I feel like the second part of that question almost contradicts that positive point of view that you just shared. Do you guys agree? Should we skip that second part of that question?
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
Which region do you think is better and why?
Yeah.
I like
Go
that.
ahead.
Let me. As
I'm
a person,
objective.
non-biased. I'm a non-biased person, right? I'm a done dad. I
Same,
don't really compete
same.
anymore, right? Yeah, Joey is too. He's just done, washed up. I think for the most part, the skill levels are equal, right? Like, having known
Wow.
both sides and being friends with both sides, the skill level's equal. It's just about the teams at the time, the preparation. Well, if we're talking about BlizzCon, right?
Obviously.
The team that worked the hardest and tried the hardest won. SK, right? They try. I mean, for people that don't know, they would be there.
They tried so hard.
The practice area opened up at 9 a.m. and it closed at 10 p.m. And I'm really good friends with the manager that managed them, and he was there from 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. And when I say 10 p.m. it closed, they were logging off their computers at 10 p.m. And then at 10 p.m. they would take the shuttle home to the hotel Burbank, and they would either eat and sit in the middle area and watch the VODs of the day and go over VODs of teams they played and stuff like that and talk about it the whole time. You know what I mean? So that's what they did. And people could say like most of the US guys like told me like, oh, it doesn't matter. Like it's matter. They won. They won BlizzCon. And SK Skill Capped was the runner up. Both those teams tried the hardest. Period. Now, talking to somebody on that team there's those two teams. I talked to one person who competed, and I'm not gonna name any names, throw him on the bus, but he told me that he felt like NA had more talent that year. And this, mind you, this is the guy who was either 1 or 2 at BlizzCon. So
Yep. Yeah,
That's
obviously, I mean, we have really talented players competing. I mean, the two people that are in this call right now, as well as like Tempo Storm, Jamilian Peekaboo, we've seen these guys. We've seen their technical abilities, but the team that tried the hardest won. You know what I mean?
yeah, people can make fun of that and stuff, and I get it, right? It's WAD, and you're there. You're in Burbank in California. If you're not from there, whatever, flown out there, you're in a hotel. You're with your buddies that you play online with. It can be distracting, and you just want to have fun. But in the end, you can't really complain or make fun of the people that won BlizzCon. They tried the hardest. They won.
But what's your insight, Kubzy? I want to get into your brain on this.
Oh God.
That's all very true. They definitely like practice a lot more. We're a lot more prepared. It's all there is to say, really. I think that like definitely both regions are good. And I mean, as a whole, this expansion, you'd have to say like you use more active, so that definitely helps.
Oh, of course,
helps the teams like get practice, and everyone's might be like, they're going to be better, more practice over there. Cause
I also I had this conversation with Joe Fernandez, and we talked about like practice on when they were practicing at home online. And I would talk to the US players, and they get burnt out queuing ladder because they'd queue ladder and they'd sit in 10-minute queues or whatever, and they'd get a horrible team or whatever.
It's a big deal.
And then Joe would say, he says, when I queue, we get instant games. I think that really added to, NA versus EU practice times is if you're in NA and you're trying to queue ladder, that's awful practice, and people just get burnt out, So I think that plays a role, is how active the ladder is.
Definitely.
Hopefully
And
the
have
ladders
played
will...
on EU.
Yeah, I mean, like you saw Chuck, like just the other day playing EU, and like instant queues, he just can't go on. He just goes on and on and on about how great the queues are. But I'm interested. I respect players from both regions. I really do. I think that like every player has something to offer, like something different to offer, and I don't know. It was really interesting to see that dynamic between the two. It's so much different. Like you always talk about NA versus EU, and you hear that like different region rivalry, and then you go and you meet these people, you meet these individuals, and you become friends with these individuals, and like there's just this line between NA and EU that kind of dissolved for me as an admin, like becoming friends with both sides. You know what I mean? They're like like they were teams, they're individual teams. They weren't from different regions, and like I don't know, it's just different mindsets. But that being said, I feel like those mindsets kind of do change slowly as more and more organizations get involved, and there's more incentive and stuff like that. And I'm really optimistic for Legion for both regions. And I wish EU had a GCD TV. Just gonna throw that out there. I wish they did. That'd
They
be
have
sick.
like don't they still have the ESL thing?
Yeah, but
Or-
they took the prize pool away from it. No one signs up.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
So if
Alright.
you're in EU and you want to be a Dmachine, like
Please do sign
Start
up
it
for
up.
the Dmachine tryouts. Feel free to email me at globalcdtv@gmail.com. And but for real though, like if you wanted to run a GCD tournament and you're really interested in it, send me an email. I might give you a shot. That's saying a lot, man. This is like GCD TV is kind of like my baby. So like for me to let someone else put my name on their work would be a big deal.
You have to be very qualified. and
Very
professional.
qualified and curly hair. All right, the next topic of
Yes.
discussion is the recent Legion PvP post. So I don't know if you guys have seen it. I'm going to link it in chat for you all. But there was a Battle.net Legion PvP post. And not to sound super uber biased or anything like that, but I'm going to be honest with you. This made me so excited. So excited. And I can go into that and I can just like nerdgasm all over you guys. But I want to hear what you guys think. Have any of you guys had a chance to read that article yet?
Yeah.
Yeah? What's your thoughts on that article?
I really, really like the fact that they're taking away conquest points because it's actually so annoying to have to, like, if you want to play a different spec, you can't because you don't have the gear for it. And if you play it, you're just gimped and it's bad. So having a set gear, maybe I don't necessarily like the fact that they're giving you stats that you have to use, but I guess for the most part, that's what everyone does anyway. So that aspect I don't really like. You can't like be different from anyone else, but you also can't use different enchants. But I also like that there's no gear, so you can just play any spec you want at any time, and it's it's really cool.
I mean, that's a big
That's my
deal
favorite
right
part, at
now,
least.
right? Like right now, like you were trying to play Enhancement Shaman, like going from a mage to an Enhancement Shaman, how much of an uphill battle was that to try to like make your Shaman to the point where you could even compete on the ladder? Like how long do you think that took mid-season?
About 2 weeks. I don't know.
That's a long time.
No, not really. I mean, the only difference, the hardest thing about switching classes is going from range to melee. It's like they're different, and you have to use your gap closers efficiently and stuff like that. But as an enhancement shaman, it's like there's not much to the class. Knowing how to use your totem as well is like the best or the hardest thing to do. So that's like a really bad example. Maybe like going from like mage to warrior or mage to rogue, but I don't know.
Okay. What about you, Kubzy?
I think it's all good stuff. I haven't read over it that carefully, but it just adds accessibility to the game, and I know I'd definitely play a lot more classes if like I just had the gear already. Like I just play so many things. Like that's how I kind of started playing the game. Is playing like Tournament Realm and VTR and like ArenaTournament.com and stuff. Where it's like I think that really helped me out being able to play like every class, and I think it'd be good for people to be able to play things like easily. Be good for the game for sure. That's like the main thing in this article, I think. I didn't really read it all.
Is the gearing process being almost eliminated? That's like the main thing.
Yeah, I like that. Maybe some people like that's part of the game for them, like progressing their gear. But I think this just puts more of like a spotlight on like competitive play rather than like just getting gear,
Right.
hitting people in random BGs or something. So I think it's good for us.
Wait, like
What is the system called again? The new system?
the gearing system?
No, the
Prestige?
leveling system. Prestige? That sounds pretty
Prestige.
cool. As
Really?
opposed to like having conquest points for people to work towards, having like a different system like that sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, and I was
I'm not
actually like I
sold on
listened
it,
to
but-
an interview with Brian talking about that prestige system, and he was telling me like he says for you to get max talents the first time without prestiging at all, just the very first time to get max talents, he said it'll take probably 2 days of casual play. 2 days of casual play. Like everyone's like
Well, casual
worried-
play.
It's like what 3
Yeah, that's
hours a
a lot.
day at
Yeah.
most. So like 6 hours of gameplay and you're ready to compete at the highest level. Like you're like because that's like the big thing now, right? Like there's no gearing anymore, but there still is. I mean, there's some gearing, but it's not as significant. But that basically getting those PvP talents is the biggest thing that you're going to need to have to accomplish, switching to a new class, right?
Yeah.
That and
Plus,
the
we talked
artifact
about how do you get a casual person into PvP.
Yeah.
I mean, you're adding
Prestige is like a way.
prestige. You're adding. I mean, think how many people. I mean, most people have played Call of Duty, and you
Right.
prestige on Call of Duty, and like that was a way of like keeping yourself playing the game. Well, here you go. The casual fans are gonna want the new titles, the new mounts, there's pennants and banners and stuff for your character. Like people are gonna want that and play PvP that way. I mean, I'm excited for it. You know
Yeah,
what I
it's
mean?
a really
Like,
good. It's a really good step in the right direction.
It looks
I mean,
fun.
I think the prestiging itself is in the right direction, but a lot of people are upset that they're like it's optional, guys. You don't have to prestige.
Yeah.
Yeah, but as a PvEer, that like people that like achievements, they're gonna do it because it's like, oh, I have to do this. I need the achievement. Like people that are really like hardcore WoW people, they're gonna have to. They're gonna feel obligated to do it anyway. So
So have a character you prestige on, then have another character that keep at one prestige to PvP seriously. I don't know. I mean, I'm really excited for it. I think the grind will be worth it. I mean, I've been looking for a game anyways that like I want to about, you know?
Right.
I don't have that MMO anymore. That used to be WoW for me, but now WoW I sit in my garrison and bullshit online. I don't do anything, you know what I mean?
I
So it'll
like
be
the-
nice to have something to work for.
I definitely think that there should be something for you to be able to work for if you want that. But at the same time, like in the current game, what it is that I need to work for now stops me from being able to pick up a new class and gear it quickly, like, and just start playing it. You know what I mean? So like, there's pros and cons to the way that the game progresses now. And they kind of separate those pros and cons and makes them two pros with this system. And I guess the cons become less significant, in my opinion. But I think that the gearing system is really, really important, and I'm really excited about that. But other parts of the article would be talking about the split of titles and PvP rewards between factions. How do you guys feel
I don't
about
think
that?
I don't think it's gonna do what they want it to do.
it's like they're kind of reaching for they're grasping at something to like make people want to change faction. I don't know. It'll be. I don't know. I don't think it have any impact at all. To be honest, the people are still gonna go whatever is the best.
Yeah, and even if it's not the best,
That's
people
more
are
for
still gonna
casual
follow their
players.
friends. Yeah, people just follow their friends.
Which is also good. Like getting new players. Like, oh, I'm Horde. I can't compete in WoW. Well, you can, but it's just a little more difficult. And I guess that's just a way of that's their way of saying, well, it's easier to get Gladiator if you're the worst race. You know, I don't know.
Yeah.
I could see it having an effect, maybe. I mean, there's a lot of people that really care a lot about titles, so
Yeah, of
it
course.
could kind of even out.
Do you
Yeah,
think
have
do you
to
think
see.
we'll see
But is
what
it
happened
good,
at like
I don't know.
when we had
is
BGs
good.
in separate realms? Do you think we'll see what would happen then, where people would try to get an easier? They'll just go.
That's
horde
like
into
that was
titles.
my main concern is like the old school ways of achieving titles, like of people going to like a different realm to get that title. And of course that's going to be like a concern of them, so they're going to have to like regulate like if their MMR gets reset, if they change over or something along those lines, or they have like this much of a window to be able to switch over to that faction and still get the titles for that season, right? If you switch the day that you get titles out, do you think they should get the titles? I don't know if they should.
I don't care either way, right? I mean,
The
if
biggest
you're
thing-
if you're a gladiator or rank 1 on Alliance, you're gonna be 1 on Horde. I feel like.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a big deal.
I don't think, I never thought that that racials were the significant reason to why we're all in alliance. I think that the biggest reason to why we're all in alliance is, like you said earlier, El, we're following our homies, we're following our friends, we're following our idols, and then we all accumulate here, and then all of a sudden we find this super awesome convenience that is playing with one another because we're all here. And that's kind of what I'm scared of. I'm scared that if it is successful the way that they want it to be, that me finding my partners might not be as convenient.
Well, originally it was because Alliance is the best because they nerfed Horde so hard, and then they unnerfed them.
Yeah.
I mean, I played Horde at regionals.
I mean, they followed them. They followed the best players in the world for a reason, right?
Yeah.
So,
I honestly don't think Horde's in a bad place at all right now. I just think people just don't want to switch because
I remember talking to
money.
Yeah, I remember talking to Alex, and he wanted to move the guild back Horde, even when it was bad, just because he wanted to be a Torn. And guaranteed, if he had done that, people would have gone with him, and then more people would have gone as their friends had gone. And then people would have still bitched about the ratios, like, oh, Horde's OP now, but like, no, people want to go with their friends, which makes sense.
I would love it, and I know that this is probably never going to happen because it ruins the immersion, but I absolutely love the idea of being able to play multiple, or like playing either faction on one arena team. An arena.
It'd have to be a different server.
Oh,
and it would like
that would make so many people mad, dude.
Yeah, it'd have to be like a different server that's
it'd be like
PvP.
mercenary mode. You know what I mean? Like they put on like that stupid mask.
but they would ruin.
Yeah, but it wouldn't
ruin
fly.
the whole,
Like people would get too. It'd have to just be on TR or something.
Yeah, exactly. People would not like that.
Ruin the lore.
People were so pissed about mercenary mode. I remember reading their forums. They were they went crazy about it.
Yeah. You're like 1 in a million, so
I know. I am definitely the minority in terms of wanting the factions. I don't care. Like I just want.
Same.
You know how cool it would be to have like an orc like on a team with like a Draenei at the same time, like using that Draenei racial or the dwarf racial or whatever as a holy paladin, and then like the orc for the DPS, so he's like less scared about the stuns or whatever. I think that it brings like a whole new thing to the game, but obviously the cons for that for the rest of the people that play the game, because I'm empathetic for the rest of the people that play the game. It's never gonna happen.
Yeah, but do they even care about high rated PvP in the first place, though?
I mean, they
do you know? Like let's think about this. Do you know what a typical WoW player does in the game?
BG.
Probably not.
BG.
Do you even think they BG?
I don't think they're BG. I think
exactly.
No.
Garrison.
I'm thinking about the statistics of like, so when you think of the people who PvE and then you think of the people who PvP, 90% of the people that PvP just do random BGs.
Yeah, but what about the people who don't do either? They're just
what does a typical person do when they log on? Like a PvE player, like a
Garrison.
Someone. Yeah, they log on, they do their Garrison, and then they queue up Raid Finder, or they log on at 6 o'clock for their raid. I mean, I used to do that when I didn't PvP. I'd log on, I would get my gold for my flasks and stuff, and my consumables, and I would just log on for raid, and then I would log off.
Mm-hmm.
I feel it. I mean, I don't really like it, but I feel it.
Or if it was mop, you would go to your farm and you'd have to do your crops and shit.
I've never had a farm in mop because I was.
I have the title.
You need to be a PvPer or a PvEer.
You need the
I
Master
wasn't
of
a
the Ways title.
PvPer, and that's true. I did not PvE at all in mop. At all. I didn't even.
That was my.
I saw
that was my PvE heyday.
I saw that legendary quest as I walked by it to go to the next zone, and I didn't even click on it. I'm like, oh, that's a legendary quest, and I just kept going. And I was leveling, dude.
I never did that quest.
Like, no, PvE. Get
casual
out of my face, dude. I'm the opposite of casual, dude. I played so much arena. But anyway, all right, guys, we're gonna go to questions. We're gonna take in questions from the forums. Topic of discussion. Hold on, let me change it. And then we're going to be taking calls very soon. Oh, man, I know you guys are so excited. I see you guys spamming these questions in chat. And we are going to answer those questions if you're in Discord. Talking to us, actual vocal talk. Are you guys excited to talk to the community? Topic.
I'm ecstatic. Can you see it on my face?
Forum questions.
Dave, would you look at chat? There's a lot of ones. I think chat wants to see something.
Wait, what is the ones that they want to see? I missed it.
Who knows?
There's a lot of ones. Wow.
Press 1 if you want to see Dmachine. Oh my god. Okay.
Who said that?
I don't know. Probably someone named Elbarth. Gosh.
Elbarth.
That's a good backstory.
Who is that?
Let's not talk
Who
about
said that? Adela said that.
Adela said that, yeah. All right, so the first question that we have comes from Morgan from the Battle.net forums, and they ask, what do you think is needed to increase the activity throughout a PvP season? Better rewards, dynamic titles you will get by winning at a certain percentage of the ladder? That's the whole question. And I have to say, right away, dynamic titles, I don't know, but I would absolutely love to see like the ladder separated by like bronze, silver, gold. Like I love that aspect of League, but it has to be a bit more complicated than just how the ladder works now. You know what I mean? L bar.
That'd be cool. Alright.
So so the question is, what do you think is needed to increase the activity throughout the PvP season?
Well, shorter seasons would help.
Yeah,
and
number one would be
also
shorter.
just more rewards. I think like you think if you ever look at Group Finder, like you see it all the time. There's people like 3s for mount, and it's like I just like forgot that there's a mount for getting like 300 wins, but it's
Really?
like people actually do it.
100 wins.
I didn't even know
Yeah,
that was a real
You
thing.
get the little token or whatever.
Yeah,
and
people
you
love
get
that.
by
Oh,
mount.
the vicious mount. Yeah, I have.
Yeah.
I have like 4 tokens because I have all the mounts already. I've had like all of them because like each token comes out every season, right? You can get another token every season reset. So I have like 3 tokens and all the mounts already. That sucks.
stuff
We
like
should have
that.
more incentive. I want to get another mount with my tokens.
I mean, if there was like decay and you had to like keep a certain MMR to stay in a certain
You
range,
kind of
that would.
do, because you have to keep your point cap, which is another incentive.
That's true. There is that.
Yeah, but
very
if you had to like
tedious.
stay, if it's like League of Legends, stay in Diamond, and you had to keep queuing to stay in that
That'd be
level
so
or that
cool,
certain
dude.
ranking.
And
That'd be good, right?
There was some sort of indication in game to show what it is that you actually are. So like if I'm gold and like I don't know, there's like some sort of like little gold plate on my freaking unit frame. Do you know how big of an incentive
Yeah.
that would be for me to have another plate on my unit frame?
Then you can add like transmog shit for your mounts and stuff, like a diamond, horse saddle or something, where people are like, damn, that dude's in diamond. And that will get all the casuals like, fuck, I want a diamond horse thing now,
Yeah.
Like, just add transmog shit and that you'll have so many people
I
up
mean,
because they want.
I
to
don't
look good
I
in
don't
the
like how
game.
they used to do gear though, because like it wasn't just cosmetic, it was also stats, and like I don't think it's good. I think like I'm always a fan of having every player on the same.
Well, there's no more gear and stats anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you can just add purely cosmetic stuff. People love
purely
okay,
cosmetic
listen,
would be so
people
cool.
love cosmetic shit in the game, man. Transmog is huge.
Transmog is everything.
It's
Give 'em
not
a
just
sick
making
mount.
the game like League. It's making the game have more incentive to be competitive. That's what we're talking about.
And
We're
League
taking-
just happened to have good ideas first.
yeah,
So
coincidentally.
use it as an example.
That makes the game more competitive. If you want people to grind a diamond, they have to be good enough to get the diamond, to get that diamond saddle, dude.
Dude, I want a diamond saddle so hard.
I want a diamond saddle too, man. Or if the mountain is just pure diamonds.
Riding
Damn.
a diamond.
I feel like it has to
just
be
ride a
something
diamond
less hard to acquire than like a mount. I want it to be something different than like a mount, or maybe like even an in-game pet or something.
Like
I
a
don't know.
tabard?
Like a tabard.
So everything like yeah.
No, shirts. Shirts are like really you can't get
Underused.
shirt like
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
So-
so I think that the
I don't know.
incentive, the boil that all down, I think that a good way to increase activity throughout a PvP season would to increase the incentive, maybe with in-game items, maybe with rewards of some sort, but even just by categorizing,
Titles.
categorizing where it is, what position you are on the ladder differently. As simple as that.
Yeah.
I'm a diamond challenger.
You're a diamond challenger? I'm a
Yeah,
just
challenger.
click on so many-
Talking about that, that's like what would get the 9% of people that just queue random BGs to like actually try arena and like increase.
High rated gives you
Like,
an
that's
elite
what
mob frame and you're
suggested.
targeted. Oh my gosh, that is the coolest thing ever. I'm sorry. I just think that's really cool.
Imagine
add-ons would
how
ruin
many
that shit,
people
though.
are so good at arena but don't play. Like they just PvE and they'd actually be so good at
Yeah,
like,
there's
they'd
probably
be
some
the next,
gods out there.
The next Goreki or something. Who knows?
Yeah.
Dude, it takes a lot. Like Alba's here to say, like it takes a lot to PVE. They're talented players, but they haven't. Okay, maybe we should skip to the next question.
I've been at the top of PV, and there's some. I mean, there are talented players, but I feel like they'd be a talented player whether they did PvP or PV. But there are a lot of like really dumb players in PV. It's really, I mean, it's not hard to PV.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, here we go, guys. We're gonna go into.
But I have ran into some like really good fucking people in random BGs, and they've like when you check out their profile and stuff, you're like, oh, this person's never queued arena. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
They just queue BGs all day.
Okay, Albert.
It's like Kubzy was saying, just bring them in.
I just finished my whiskey, so that might be you taking over the rest of the show. Just a heads up, okay?
Will we get nipples easier this time?
No, I'm just gonna not be here. Okay, so the next question comes from Jimmy Rambo. He says, "Please add botting and cheating to the discussion point." Oh, oops, I probably should delete this because we already talked about it. But yeah, we've already talked quite a bit about botting and cheating, and we hate it, and we want it to go away. And I don't know. I really like the community continuing to hold each other accountable. I think that's a really good idea. And Lunix has also asked a question. He says, I'd like to hear ideas on how to get more players involved in Arena and what they think of the PvP community. Yeah, I think the point Joey made earlier today, was the accessibility of Arena. But how could you make Arena more accessible other than just gear? Like, I don't know. Like, you remember when they came out with that guide? They came out with like this weird guide that popped up in a certain patch, and when it's like, it's the guide to this patch 6.2, and there was this little itty bitty corner that said, queue up for random BGs. That's what, like, I feel like there could be more that Blizzard could do on their end to allow PvP to be more accessible. I'd love to be able to level 1 to 100 in PvP if I wanted to, like full abilities.
That'd be nice.
Even if it was a little slow. I just want that option.
You can, though, with skirmishes.
Well, it's not like PvP though. It's like
it's like
one-shotting. It's like dumb.
Exactly. Yeah, I don't want like a level 17 PvP. I want level 100 PvP as soon as I make a character. I want that option.
Whenever I think of that, have you ever played Guild Wars?
No, I've never played.
Yeah.
In Guild Wars 2, I played it for like 5 minutes, but I made a character level 1, and then they had like a PvP zone, and you had all the vendors for all the gear. You had every talent, every spell, and you were level 1. But in the PvP zone, you were level 1, whatever, level 100 or whatever, and you didn't have to level up to get all those talents and gear and stuff.
But I mean, like, to be able to like compete, probably you'd have to play at least.
No, you didn't have to. You could literally just play
be
for
level 1 and just compete in Arena right now?
There was just 2 separate things, PvP and PvE, and there was talents that you unlocked every talent in the PvP zone.
That would give people no incentive to hit level 100 then. Maybe,
I know. I'm not saying it's a good
that's
idea.
what someone just said in chat, but I'm okay with that. I mean, why are we?
Yeah, but you're okay with it, but
of course. But it's
getting new players. That's the whole idea of like trying to make WoW a bigger game is by getting new players. Like that's how League.
So just let players level up through PvP.
I feel like a big reason why League was successful is because of how accessible it was. Maybe we could keep best of both worlds. We can
free to play is the main thing.
They can't do of course. They can't do rated arenas or battlegrounds unless they're level 100. But they can go and do BGs. They can still do skirms as level whatever.
Dude, as a person who hates leveling, like leveling is the worst thing on the planet. Like I spend money to not.
Yeah, you can't actually level up though, and I mean you can, but like, dude, you're just gonna get globaled by some random nonsense because the game's not balanced around that. I don't want them to balance the game over low levels. I want them to be able.
No.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying though. Like you enter as a level 100, right? Because there's no gear. There's not really gear in Legion, so it might be possible. You're just whatever the max level is, and you can PvP or whatever with other people doing that, and you get XP when you leave. Right? Instead of me having a quest in some dumb zone that I don't care about. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, like, everyone's like, yeah, everyone wants to be able to do this. Well, just give people the option to do that. I just want more accessibility to PvP. It's really what I want. I want people to be able to experience what it is that they could experience. Like, a new player comes to PvP, even if they get boosted, they have weeks before they get to experience the PvP for what it really is. And I don't like that. I don't know. If WoW was free to play, do you think the community would be better? Isn't enough people playing it high rated at the moment? It seems like I don't think free to play is the right answer. Well, one, I don't think it's ever a possibility.
No, it's never.
For a while, for a long time.
It could be a possibility.
Maybe like a free to play PvP server might be. Not even that.
The game could go full The game could go full free to play if they just add more fucking cosmetic pet shit.
Okay, so they went from like how many subscribers did they have at their peak? Like 8 million. You think that, and they were all paying $15 a month. You think that they're gonna just
but it, like you got to think about the time it was in. It was brand new then. You know what I mean? Brand new, and like a subscription to a game wasn't a old thing.
Think about how much free to play wasn't right now though. You can't you can imagine the number. And,
of course, there's pro to cons to being free to play. I mean, like increasing the accessibility too far would be like, oh my gosh, then all of a sudden there's a whole bunch of people that might be considered toxic because it's free to play and there's no real incentive to getting banned or anything like that. But at the same time, increasing accessibility would also help the game grow. And I don't know.
Sorry, 12 million. There's 12 million subscribers paying $15 a month. They're not going to drop all that. That's
Well, of
a
course they're not going to
disgusting
drop
amount of
all
money.
that unless they're making an equivalent amount of money another way. And I
Yeah.
mean, other games have proven that that's possible. Making that transition.
Dude, Hearthstone's making
while
them
it's
so much money.
Yeah, like making that transition though, is that possible? I don't think making that transition is possible. That's the biggest thing. Obviously, it's plausible to make money off of microtransactions. No one's saying it's not. It's proven to be possible. But can you make the transition successfully?
I think they could.
I think Riot made like over $1 billion last year or some ridiculous
Well,
amount of money.
Blizzard, the earnings call, their last earnings call, Blizzard alone, not with Activision, Blizzard alone made 1.06 billion in a quarter.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. That's
Definitely not from WoW. That's from that Hearthstone.
Yeah.
Hearthstone and Heroes, because Heroes is pretty good with that too.
Microtransactions, yeah. But I kind of like that. I don't know. You can choose not to. I love that choice. But okay, so that's all of the questions in terms of what it is that we were going to do. So now we're going to start taking calls. Well, let me check this. Taking calls.
Oh boy.
Here we go. You guys ready? All right. So Clutter is actually the one in charge of taking all said calls, and she's going to be talking to you guys and seeing if you are good to go, and she's going to drop you down into the call on Discord, and you're just going to have to just introduce yourself and ask your question. And as soon as Clutter's ready, we're going to take our first call.
Oh God. Brace yourselves. Big Mac.
Hello? I don't think he can talk.
He's muted.
His mic is muted. That's the problem, I think.
I don't think he can talk. Whoa, this whiskey hit me so hard, Elb. Carry me.
Stand
Oh,
up, take your
no.
shirt off. I mean, what?
Stand up.
Yeah, stand up on stream.
I'm not
dance.
actually going to try to troubleshoot anything. I'm just going to let Hannah do everything.
He has to use push to talk.
Oh. Maybe.
Well, he has his mic muted. He needs to unmute his mic before he even does. I can't unmute it. He says.
He has to have the app downloaded. It happened to me.
Oh, he's in a browser?
Yeah,
GCD
probably.
Hotline Bing.
Let me fix it for him.
This fire is so cozy.
You
That's
just
why my
type
red's
this-
so that's why my face is
Me
so
too.
red.
Wait, which way is the fire at?
Let's look at your face. I haven't seen your face.
Dude,
Let me
I
see
am
it.
as red as a lobster, man.
Oh my goodness.
I'm pretty far gone, man. That was like really good.
How much did
scotch.
you have?
Like half a glass, but it was really
David,
good.
after
That's
half the
nothing.
glass. David,
I don't think you know
did you not see
how
my?
good that scotch
You're
was.
weak. I
am.
had
I actually have kidney problems.
I had half a red solo of vodka. And I'm
Dude,
fine.
vodka can't step to my scotch. I'm just saying.
What kind of scotch do you have? I'm really curious. I'm a fan of scotch.
Thanks for putting my mixtape up there. Yeah, JD, your mixtape is straight fire. Kappa.
What did you drink, David?
Big Mac, can you talk now?
It was like 50 proof stuff. What's up? Is he here?
Oh that's disgusting.
No, it's really smooth, man. That's what you get. Good quality.
His mic is unmuted.
Yeah.
I heard him for a second.
I don't think I'm typing.
I'm downloading this stuff. Okay.
Well, while he's downloading stuff, do you want to get somebody else, huh?
Yeah, I'll get early spark.
All right.
Let's take a bet on what Big Mac sounds like.
I think he
I'm
sounds
sure
like...
he's got a really sexy voice.
Ooh, Joey.
Oh, he sounds like a 12-year-old. Okay, never mind.
Oh man, I'm sure he doesn't sound like.
No, I'm not drinking a lot. I know I'm a lightweight, but it was really good.
So drink more. More.
No, dude. Mm-mm. I like went into this
Oh, early
podcast
spark.
like hungover from yesterday, my brother's birthday.
Welcome, early spark.
Hello, Early Spark. Are you there?
So I think everyone who has the browser can't talk unless they download
Make sure
it.
you're downloading Discord, everybody.
The Sturt has a question for me.
Okay, go ahead.
See what it is.
Sturge, feel free
Go ahead
to
and ask
ask
it.
said question because none of the people who are trying to ask us questions have downloaded Discord yet.
You should download Discord, by the way. It's a very great program. I
It
use
is.
it myself.
I'm a pretty big fan of Discord. And not only that, but you can
Same.
join the GCD Discord group and communicate with me, Clutter, and other people in the community whenever you want. Well, I mean, obviously I go to sleep, but
We have
And-
good conversations too. It's fun.
And you have
We talk
no
about
fear of
everything.
being DDoSed.
yes,
it's awesome.
no fear of being DDoS is quite good.
Hide your IPs and have great chats with us.
Browser probably works normally, but we have a lot of like fail safes to prevent screaming in our ears. I'm too nervous now. Yo, can I just get a quick shout out to Kubzy and Absturge for both of their healing point of view streams? I've been enjoying both of them significantly.
Hey, I stream sometimes on my Druid, and you don't even give me a shout out.
Wait, what?
Dude, a Rositi stream is a treat. I'll tell you,
Thank
it's
you.
solid,
Thank you.
solid Resta Druid gameplay. Oh, don't you need a new name for your Druid? Maybe we should ask the community.
Oh yeah. No.
Oh
no,
yeah,
no.
yeah.
If someone gave me a
please.
good name, I wouldn't be able to use it. So don't steal the names because I'm thinking of them. I'm brainstorming right now. You just don't realize it. But if someone gives me a name that's like really good, I can't use it because I didn't come up with it.
Oh, that's weird.
But here's the question: Should we answer this question this guy just asked?
Go for it. I trust you. I don't even know which question you're referring to.
Do you think WoW should continue with removing abilities to create less button bloat to make it easier for outsiders to understand what is going on?
I don't
Because
think
I
it's
feel
necessarily true. Like, we don't even know that yet. They specifically have said in the past that the amount of abilities at level 110 are going to be the same, if not more, when we have the full game available to us. We don't even know if because I mean, we're going to have abilities from PvP and regular talents. And not only that, we're probably going to be learning more talents as we level. So considering the amount of talents that they've purged right now and the amount of talents that we're going to be getting, we could very well be at the same amount. We just actually got a donation.
I hope that they don't prune more because nobody likes pruning.
Of course.
I think that was the main thing that made WoD worse than MoP than every other expansion.
Yeah, that donation was from me, by the way.
And like that means like Rositajones, like a rank 1 druid, like the amount of abilities.
I like Rositajones. Why don't you like Rositajones?
She's really bad. She has 1 title and she got it in season 6.
Sorry, I only have 1 title too, and I didn't even deserve it. I just played with amazing players. Okay, here we go.
Well,
we have.
Okay.
So Hannah's not very good at Okay, I got a $3 donation from RL is just AFK, and he says also shout out to Born Good and Floria healing stream. Okay, shout out to Born Good. What in the heck? Okay, thank you so much for that. Was that Barry?
Floria never streams.
No, I don't think so.
Just someone else. All right, we're taking serious calls. Feel free to call in if you are actually
guys.
want to ask
Be
us a
serious.
question.
Be
Come on.
professional.
We're talking about serious stuff. Wow,
What
serious.
expansion did y'all enjoy the most, and what do you wish they could bring back? I think, honestly, Wrath was the best expansion. Like, Season 8 was the most fun I've ever had playing WoW.
I
could
Wrath
play
so
WoW
much.
all day, and I would never get bored of it.
It's actually
Like,
crazy.
I played-
You get a different answer no matter what.
I played-
depending on the different class you talk to.
In Wrath, I played DK, Mage, Druid, Warlock, and they were all so fun. And every class had something. I could list every class and think of something OP about them. Like, everything was OP, and everything was so fun, and everything was, like, explosive, and I don't know. It obviously wasn't perfect, but it was like it was the most fun. And I don't know if people have obviously heard of the Private Realm, but I think it's not just my opinion. Like that, Season 8 was like a really good season because they made a private server out of it.
That's not true. Every class was not good in Wrath of the Lich King.
Okay, maybe not like Moonkin and Feral, but most
Red Paladins were gods for like a blink.
Okay, David, no one gives a shit about your
Shadowmourne.
Shadowmourne. I'm not PvEing, man. The fact that I had to PvE to compete in PvP makes that whole expansion.
Vanguard's got rank 1 in 8 on the best BG in the game.
And he had Shadowmourne, right? And he was one of the very few people in the entire world that had the opportunity for that.
He got rank 1.
Dude, you could have bought that. You could have. We sold Shadowmourne. You can buy Shadow. Dude, come on, Dave.
I'm not going to buy a PvE weapon to compete. Like the fact that is a thing makes that entire.
Well, the class was so good. It still did a ton of damage.
Yo, remember Vial of Shadows and Kata?
It did do a ton of damage.
Was that Kata?
That was Kata.
Yeah. I sold. Do you know we sold for that? Like we sold so many Vial of Shadows to people.
Rogues would kill you with throwing knives because they'd knock their vial on you from range.
I made so much gold from that, dude. Like hell yeah.
I think I don't know. I didn't play Kata. I quit Kata because they made Warlock so boring, and made Resto Shaman so good. So like I couldn't play it anymore. But I know that it was pretty fun, and I know that I think Wrath is my favorite season.
I like
but I don't know
Cat.
about you guys. Kata was good. I think.
I like
Kata
Kata.
too.
So
Kata I like.
I didn't play much of Mop either, but
I thought Kata Shadow Priest was like the funnest class ever. That was like the best time.
Yeah.
Everything was really involved. Like your mana, all your abilities, you had to like be smart with.
Are we getting
Yeah,
a new call, Hannah?
Early
They
Spark,
ruined-
can you talk?
Hello?
sup Spark, eSpark.
Is your method of Discord not working?
Not working. I don't know why not. It's because they didn't have it downloaded, and I didn't know that.
So just make it so, I don't know. Do you want us to go into a different channel in Discord?
No.
Like a channel that people can't get in easily? I feel like there's easier ways to do this. I see his thing popping up every now and then, but it's not working for some reason.
Please answer my question above. Oh, let's look what your question was.
Yeah, please entertain while we figure this out, Joey.
Well,
Dude, we should just give everybody our Skypes.
No. I'm not even on.
I
Let's just have them type them in the chat.
Enjoy the Fear asked.
Really?
He said,
Well, because
You
it's
don't-
not working.
What if we just make
says
it
you
a
don't
little
think-
bit more open and just mute and get people out instantly? Like, is that not a thing?
Are they server muted still? Maybe that's a thing.
I don't know.
"You don't think with the amount of abilities there are, it's confusing to those who watch people playing arenas. If I was new to the game with the amount of abilities, it would draw my attention away from the game.
I don't know. I don't think that. I don't think that 90%.
I don't think that's the reason.
Yeah.
I don't think the amount of abilities are what makes the game hard to watch. I think it's the amount of little things that people don't see, like that are people that are new to the game don't know anything about interrupts or CC or burst and like cooldowns and stuff like that. So that's what makes the game hard to watch, as opposed to just like League. There's 4 abilities, there's 4 things, and there's 2 summoner spells, and it's like a lot easier to follow.
Like
And
when you think of the
the meta is
abilities
drawn
that
out.
they pruned, it's like the fact that you didn't know the difference between like pounce and shred before, like doesn't matter. It's like that doesn't. The fact that those are like combined doesn't really help like spectators see what's going on. It just like made things simpler to actually play. Like that's the majority of the pruning. Like that's sort of what happened. I think. I don't think it's much easier to watch now than it was before. Maybe a little bit, but it's mostly because the UI is better. I think.
Yeah. Yeah, agreed. I don't know, but at the same time, like, you're going to get more viewers watching the more people that are playing, but obviously pruning did not increase accessibility. I mean, it did increase accessibility, but that increase in accessibility wasn't what was needed to have more people PvP, because there's still, it didn't help the overall game, right?
No.
Yeah.
Liberty side, can you talk?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
Yay.
Okay.
What's your question?
Okay, my question is, when there's a 4-player roster and it's only like BlizzCon like there's just been, do you think there should be a rule where every player on the team has to actually play? Because the Warlock in SK Gaming didn't play a single game and
Everyone likes this
Like-
example, huh?
25k.
Yeah, but they wouldn't have got there without him.
100%.
What?
Okay,
They wouldn't
Let me
have
just
got
give-
there without him.
let me get a little
He
background
didn't
since
play a game, so he still
He
would
didn't
have
play a
got
He
game
didn't play a
anyway,
game
like,
at
they would've got
BlizzCon,
there.
but they wouldn't
He
have
didn't play a
gotten to
game
BlizzCon
period,
without
did
him.
he?
Yeah, he did.
I'm pretty sure he didn't play
They would have
qualifiers.
not. Yeah, he wouldn't. They would not have qualified without him.
They
Warlock,
would have
played
qualified
with-
in a previous one.
They played when Warlocks before they were nerfed.
Yeah.
Turbo was still just as
Okay.
good though.
just to give a little background too. Just a little bit of background. So Fabs at BlizzCon, like I was there opening week in working with the teams.
You're gonna defend him. Okay.
Yeah, because like he got a lot of shit during the whole week.
Still getting a lot
Okay,
of
he's
shit.
Listen.
practiced. It's not like he didn't do anything. We're not saying that. It's just funny that he sat the bench and won.
I know, but he showed up and fucking did his job every day, helped them practice. He went over VODs with them. He did the same amount of hours. So anything, I think he got punished because, like, isn't the fun part being on stage?
25K, bro.
Yeah, but the fun part's being on stage in front of people, and he just got to sit there and do nothing. You know what I mean? Like I agree, it's kind of lame.
I would never
watching
want to
him.
ride the bench the entire time. I'd actually feel like shit if I was sitting there.
I feel like the biggest
Like,
reason why Fabio didn't play
watching the
wasn't
team play.
because that like there just wasn't the right comps. Was just because we as a community never evolved to be able to fully utilize the 4-player roster. Like straight up, like Fabio would have had to play if there was more compositions in play. Like every
If
team on a
Turboclave
4-player
wasn't
roster.
so good.
Yeah, that too.
Okay,
I mean,
so
Turboclave being a
do you
bit more
think that,
universal.
do you think that in Legion they should carry on with the 4-player roster then?
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, until the 3-player rosters or players are able to play multiple classes at the highest level, I think the 4-player roster is needed to be able to avoid getting hard countered.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, like that was like the biggest problem with our game, right? Was that like our format in tournaments encouraged universal compositions. Like we constantly were like saying, "Oh, only 3 players enter, and only each team just accumulates 1 composition." All of a sudden, we get these awful games like LSD and stuff like that, where they just like had this universal composition that they didn't get countered, and I don't want to encourage that. And I feel like at the moment, like we need more teams like Cloud9 and like Method Black to be able to have the versatility to play more than just even 2 comps with a 4-player roster, but multiple. Like I think that's what we need. Like don't get me wrong, I understand that there's a lot of cons to having a 4-player roster. I understand that the 4-player rosters are like downright bad for spectating, but at the same time, tournament integrity and like the gameplay is bad when it's just 3 players and just 1 comp each team. I think that
Okay, yeah, I agree.
like we as a community have to like move forward and like look at the game in a different light completely to make it competitive the way that we want. And I think that personally, I don't think the 4-player rosters are the answer. I just think that it makes it the advantages that you gain from multiple compositions more obvious for people to catch on. But hopefully we'll be able to adapt back to 3. That's my goal. Maybe.
To answer the original question though about the like, do you think?
Oh,
there should
that's
be
a good
rule for the
point.
fourth has to play? I don't think. I think that would be like all that would do is create. It just forces people. Like it would make people in a situation where in a series they're already going to win. They'll just play like a subpar comp. I think it's like.
Yeah.
We saw it a lot. Huh? We saw it during qualifiers because that was a rule during.
Yeah, during the
we
online
couldn't bring a
qualifiers.
fourth because of that.
Yeah.
And it's just like, you know, I don't know.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
think
think
the
it's a
biggest
great-
reason like that rule was added. I'm gonna hold my own. I think the biggest reason that rule was added wasn't because they wanted everyone to, they wanted to force you into a subpar comp and they wanted you to compete if you needed or even if you didn't need to. What the biggest reason why that rule happened was because they didn't want like players bringing their freaking girlfriends with them.
Yeah. And that would happen to, like, just a little insider on some of the workings at BlizzCon. I still have literally like thousands of guest badges that no one picked up for their guests because their guests didn't actually come. So I feel like that would happen too with a 4th player that turned out to be somebody's mom that didn't want to come. So there's a plane ticket that Blizzard just paid for that they didn't really follow up on. It's definitely messy.
I think that we should.
Right, so going back to my original question, do you think there should be a rule where everyone on the team has to play at least once in a series or through the whole tournament that they're in it?
No, I think that like Kubzy said, it encourages playing subpar comps when a rule like that to try to keep everyone participating alters gameplay and alters like forcing them to play subpar comps. That like I think that there definitely needs to be something to help encourage or incentivize players to compete. Don't get me wrong, but at the same time, I don't think that we should force players to compete. Like I don't want to force them, but I want to encourage it. And my best way that I feel like we can encourage it is to have more and more teams multi-class, and then all of a sudden more versatility of more compositions coming out. You're going to want to utilize that 4th a lot more.
Yeah, but if they're already on a team and playing in the series, then they've already been encouraged to play, though, right?
Yeah, but I mean, like we're talking about the future. We're not talking about the previous BlizzCon. I mean, there's nothing we could do to change the previous BlizzCon, and like looking forward, I feel like just taking everything that we as a community have learned now, and then if BlizzCon was next month, I don't think that we'd have the same situation occur. I just don't. I think that people would recognize the advantage that you could get from being able to really utilize that 4th player, even if Warlocks got nerfed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. I also have like a question about. Do you not think at the moment there's some comps have like a lot of intros which you need to get through, and like they should maybe change like the interrupt game in Legion,
Oh.
because like in some comps now, if the Warlock does like the CS bug, you know, it's like 4 kicks to get through essentially.
Like FLS you're talking about, or like
Yeah,
any
yeah,
lock
yeah.
shaman, any lock shaman team. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's pretty annoying to play against that because you just never cast. You just kind of like use instant cast the entire game, and you're just always interrupted. I don't
Yeah.
know what they could do. I mean, they could fix double
Yeah.
CS. That'd be one
Do you
thing.
not think they should go back to, you know, like back when a lot of healers didn't have interrupts and like the odd like one did,
Right.
like when Shaman had shear and stuff like that.
Well, Shaman had a 5-second shear, so if you're talking about
Yeah.
that, I mean, it's worse than it was now. And grinding was like 10-second cooldown.
Yeah.
Like, I think.
I don't know. Like, if we're going to talk about the specifics of what makes this game bad, I feel like it's definitely a lot of things. And I think that the game itself needs to be radically changed, and then we go from there to see what's wrong with the game. And I think Legion's presenting that. They're presenting a radical, different gameplay. And what needs to happen at that point, whether or not it's interrupts or whatever, to make the game entertaining and to make the game fun to play and also competitive, is all to be determined. You know, it's too hard to speculate too far away. That's all that we're really caring about right now, right? Because I mean, the possibility of changes occurring in WoD are probably pretty slim, considering all the amount of manpower that they have to put into an expansion coming out. So all we can really do is look towards Legion, and we still don't have enough information. It's all up in the air. But we're gonna take questions from another caller. I do really appreciate the conversation that you brought to the table, and thank you.
Yeah, good questions.
Also, great accent.
Great questions.
Thank
And
you.
great accents.
UK.
All
Can you hear
right.
me?
Yes, we
Hello.
can hear you.
What's up,
Okay, great.
Spark?
Hey.
Welcome. What's up?
Hey guys, it's Early Spark. So I'm kind of new to arenas. I've only been playing for like 2 to 3 months. My question is, how do you guys think, all of you guys think viewers can help grow the esports community?
Ooh.
So besides just hitting the follow button on streams or following Twitter, you know, like people that play and watch. People that watch and play WoW come from a lot of diverse backgrounds with lots of skills outside of WoW. Like there's graphic designers, musicians, bartenders, you know. So I'm basically saying, are there ways they can take these skills and support and grow a WoW esports community? And if so, how? And also, hi Kubzy.
Dang. This is a good question.
Wow, that was a lot.
Okay.
Well, like, there's a lot of things. Just so, like, basically, it's kind of what I'm doing, right?
Yeah.
I have a management background and like a business management background, and I'm kind of taking that into what I'm forging my own path into WoW esports, right? Like, I really enjoy the management aspect of WoW, of like managing teams and like kind of being an agent, because like there's no esports agent right now, you know what I mean? Like, there's agents for like basketball players and football players and stuff like that, but I feel like as esports grow, there's going to be a need for agents, and I'm kind of like filling that role right there. And people do that with graphic design. Trex, for one, made all the graphics for this stream.
So good. Shout out
It
to my
looks
boy
like
Trex.
the production value is amazing now, right? And that's his contribution to WoW esports.
Yep.
So
yeah,
I think there is a way.
I think it's specific to every situation. Like you said, there's so many people out there with so many different talents and aspects to them, and it's situational. That like what they can provide. Like Trex in his scenario can provide and make us look way more professional. And like someone else might have connections with like a bar, and like that dude that works at the bar can turn on the GCD stream and get even more people watching at that bar, and all of a sudden that bar could become an esports bar or something like that. But I think that the biggest thing that you can do is help a network. Now, if you look at viewership and you look at stuff like that, it's all momentum effect. And I learned this when I started my YouTube channel, is that going from 1 to 100 subscribers was like pulling teeth. But when I hit 100 subscribers, I was gaining probably 10 subscribers a week. When I hit 500 subscribers, I was gaining 50 subscribers a week. So as we get more and more viewership, it's up to the community to really spread that word and spread the possibilities and like sell people on what it is that we're doing. And I think that so far the generosity and the community that we've created so far has been positive and really, really cool. But it's really difficult to answer this question for like everybody. I'd say, to sound like a sellout, hit that like button and retweet and subscribe. Like, I don't know, like, like realistically, like offer your assets, let other people utilize what it is you have to offer. But beyond that, it's very situational. I think that a big thing that WoW Esports needs to improve on is making celebrities out of our players.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing.
Because, I mean, I don't know about you, but I never watched League of Legends until I started following the individual players on TSM. And they probably bought so many viewers. Like, when the TSM comes on, they like jump in like 200, they jump like 20,000 viewers or something crazy, like every time TSM comes on. You know what I mean? So,
I've seen famous people like Miss Jones, but if he was actually good still.
Or we can make you famous, Kubzy. So make sure to hit that follow button on Kubzy's Twitter at C9Kubzy. Follow him on
Also,
Twitter.
don't forget to follow Rositajones on Twitch.
Oh yeah, please follow Rositajones on Twitch. He actually plays multiple compositions as well.
Yeah, I'm trying to help him out here. You're being a little biased towards Kubzy, which I get it, man.
I mean, just look at the C9 chair, to be honest. Just
look at that chair.
The hat, man.
C9 chair is just everything.
Do you guys have anything else to add to her question, Kubzy or Rosita?
I don't think so.
Nah, not really. I agree with everything you said. It's very situational, the way you can impact esports or anything.
Everyone has something to bring to the table, whether or not be getting their friends to watch it with them, or being able to make like stream assets for even just a player, not just for GCD TV, but for a player, making a player look a bit more professional, making a player have the tools to be able to reach out and grow their own brand helps GCD, because GCD TV is just an acronym for WoW Esports. Not really. It's for Global Cooldown TV, but you get it. You get the picture.
Yeah, same.
We all grow together. Together to the top. We're bringing it back. Not really. It kind of flopped, huh? But
you hit it.
I hope that answers your question, Easy Sparks, and I really appreciate your interest.
It's early Spark, not Easy Spark.
I'm sorry, early Spark.
He's a little.
This is David.
This
You can't speak words.
It's really bad in things, but I really appreciate the question.
Thank you for the question.
Yo, don't laugh
get a
at me,
number,
Joey.
Kubzy.
That's messed up, dude.
I'm not laughing at you. I think
Kubzy.
the situation is cute. You know.
Your number.
It's just
Everyone's saying that Kubzy's baked. Everyone, please read the FAQ of his stream.
The FAQ, yeah, come on.
Read
it
the
was a cute question.
He's actually
Girl.
he's actually like this 24/7. Like no matter what.
That
It's
would be
actually
a cute
the
question
chillest
from a
dude.
guy too, Rosita. I'm drunk.
You need a cute question from a guy.
No, I'm just saying that would have been.
I mean, oh well, no, I'm saying. Okay, whatever. I just won't get into it. It's fine. I'm not being sexist.
I know.
Sexist,
I'm a little drunk. All right, Hannah. Do we have any
David,
more
I think it's really
questions?
unprofessional that you got drunk.
Steven is here with a question.
Hello, Steven.
Is it
I
him?
think he did not download the app, so he...
My
You are
push button is
eliminated.
working.
I did download.
Early Spark. Please tell everyone. It's Early Spark, right? Yeah. Tell everyone how you did it, please.
Easy Spark.
You need to use push to talk, I believe. You need to know how to use that.
I
Google
believe in
it.
you, Steven.
You can figure it out, or you can just ask the question and I'll read it for you.
We're going to be getting Steven on the show very shortly, guys. If you want to join in on the conversation, feel free to download Discord. We'll get you in.
Oh, he was server muted for some reason. Interesting.
Hello?
There might have been a reason for that.
Yes, there
Hello.
might have been. Hi, Steven.
me?
What's your question?
I have 3 very important questions. I'll start
it's
with
him.
the first one. Hi,
Who is
Joey.
him? Is this Balance?
No.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Okay. So the first question, what is it? I'm very concerned about the prestige system in Legion because I really want transmog from it, but if you prestige, you lose everything, and then that means you would just lose arena because you don't have everything. So they should fix that, right?
I don't know if they should fix that. I mean, I think that the choice should be available to whether or not you want to play high-end arena or if you want a prestige. I think that's like the choice that you make.
We can't have both.
Nope.
You never get the best of both worlds. You have to learn that in life, honestly.
Well,
You should know
like
that by now.
right now, like the pro and con is that like you can have both right now, but to do either one, you have to gain gear. Like so, you have that consistent progress of feeling like you're getting more powerful, but at the same time, there isn't even the option for the person to be able to go and compete. Like there isn't that option. You have to go through the gearing. So like giving choices to the people who are going through the prestige would be, I feel like it's a better option. It's like, I don't know. I prefer this option than what we're currently doing.
I feel like people are really worried that it's going to take too long to prestige, but I think if you're queuing every day,
I think it's going to take to get to the highest prestige. What I heard is going to take a long time.
It'll take a long
Which is
time.
good,
But in between
right?
prestiges, I don't think you're deal. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. But
I don't know, we have yet to see. It's
a to be determined sort of thing, and not only that, but another big thing would be in war games if you just got full max level. It'd be interesting in talent and PvP talents.
I agree.
Kind of like tournament gear, same sort of idea, right? Now the gearing's gone,
Yeah.
but the reason why tournament gear was in the first place is that you didn't have to worry about that. But yeah, why are we spamming numbers? What's highest
our
rating?
highest
Oh
rating.
gosh. Okay. Let's see, like over 9,000. Okay.
I also have another question. This question's for Kubzy. What are your thoughts on Rositajones being the highest rated Vested Druid in the North America region right now?
Well, as you know, since he is the highest rested druid, he's also the best rested druid.
Yeah.
Taking that spot from Pink Rangers in the game. So
Do you think you'll ever get it back?
I don't think I'm the best, so I can never see that happening.
Dang.
Maybe one day if I can step to Rositi.
Rip Kubzy dream, boys.
Do you have a guide on your Resto Druid, by the way, Rositi?
I have not made one yet, but I could if the chat wants it.
I'll help you out, and then you can. I'll take like 75%. You can have 25% of it.
Oh, okay.
Sounds like a good deal.
Who are you referring to?
Sick deal, bro.
All right. What's your third question?
Oh yeah, my third question was about banning past cheaters from current GCD tournaments.
Oh.
I recently got information. I was just watching a stream the other day, and I learned that Jamili is a wall hacker, and he wall hacked in arena. So, any idea what we should do about that?
I'm gonna have a long talk with Jamili. Here at GCD TV, we are a big believer in second chances. We like to give ultimatums to our players to let them choose a better path for the community and for themselves, and give them that opportunity to be a better person altogether. So I'm gonna have a long chat with Jamili. Don't you worry.
Also, if you
we'll hold him
okay,
accountable.
Thank you. Thank you.
There's a special fund that you can pay David, and he'll ban players just for.
That's
a certain
true too. If you want a player
Yeah.
banned, the price is $500 a pop. So
It's sometimes a little cheaper too, depending on the person.
That
David
is
might
not
do
true.
That's true
As the
too.
admin to everything, I would like to say that is not true.
I heard her
Um,
laugh, by the way, before she said that.
Oh, also, she also Greece as well, so her price is a little higher, but it's still the same.
You guys are such trolls.
The biggest troll.
Yeah, C9 actually won every single game last GCD.
Steven,
The amount of money they
is that all your questions?
That was all. Thank you for being wonderful hosts. Goodbye.
Thank you
Thank
for the
you.
questions, man. Have a
Peace
good
out,
one, dude.
Steve.
Peace out, Steven.
See you on the other side. Just kidding.
Ben Tolan 123, you had a question, right?
Oh, she's getting another one.
Okay, you're being
I don't know. How long do you guys want to do this for? Because this looks like there's a lot.
Well, some of the questions are being repeated. Like, in different words, and it's like you're answering the same question, but it's
Right.
worded differently. So there's no point in even bothering to
So,
reply.
yeah.
We just need a better moderator, honestly.
Yeah, everyone's got to step up.
No,
their
I'm
game.
reading. I'm reading this chat and I'm reading the questions that people are putting in here, and it's like the same. We've already answered these questions. You can't
Yeah, it's
really.
kind of. We'll
reiterate
take.
it.
How about
Can
this?
you
We'll
guys hear
take 5 more calls. Oh, hey, what's up?
What's up, Ventolin? What's up, bro?
Would you like to introduce
watching,
yourself
I'm watching
and
Oh,
ask
I
your
can hear
question?
now. Okay, we're good.
Yep.
What's your question?
My question is, what are the host's opinions on carries and pilots done on the ladder for real money? And how does it compare to what people do in PvE in terms of carries?
Oh, that's a good question for you, El.
PVE is like it's a self play, right? So it's different.
Oh, it can be both. Like I've heard of.
Yeah, but I think guilds have gotten banned for doing that. So it's like any other.
I think
Yeah.
my view personally on it is if you're acquiring a title or an item or anything that you didn't rightfully earn yourself, it's bad. Straight up. It's bad for you, and it's also bad for the game, especially when the only representation of how good we are as players has always been arena rating. So when people have higher rating than they should, it's not necessarily a good thing, right? I mean, obviously, there's always going to be a certain amount where there's always going to be some people that have other opportunities than other. Like we were talking about this earlier, Elb. Like remember, like what if I was a gladiator or a rank 1 gladiator paladin and like Hannah, for example, wasn't that very good at the game, but was living with me, so she had the opportunity to play with me, and so she inadvertently all of a sudden has a higher rating. But to purchase that with real money I don't think is right. I don't agree with it.
Well, the difference between PV and PvP is that there's an active ladder for PvP, and like queuing into those pilots can either make or break somebody's glad run. Like it might be their first glad run ever, and they run into like Jamili queuing ladder on a pilot. Not saying he does, but I'm just saying, like, obviously they're not going to beat Jamili if they're both playing really well and Jamili's playing well. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's kind of shitty that way, right? Where pilots take legit glad spots from somebody first getting glad or their 5th glad. It doesn't matter. You know what I mean? PV carries, like I sold PV carries. Usually, I mean, to even sell a carry, you had killed the boss already.
Right.
So the race is over. Like somebody's already killed the boss. The race is over. You're just getting a title that no one really gives a shit about, you know. Like you're not gonna get a server first unless some people do transfer, but you know what I mean. So that's the difference there. But I think carries just ruin the ladder. Period. It's not good for ladder.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. You can't really do any. I don't know. There's a lot less carries than there used to be though.
Yeah, it used to be so much worse than it is now. Like,
Season
usually-
15 was like the rating went from like I think rank 1 was like 2850 and it went down to like 27 something because there were so many accounts that got like banned or whatever from getting titles. And then last season it was completely different.
I'm a fan of I'm a fan of coaching lessons because now coaching lessons to me would be like someone reading a guide and be like the
watching
equivalent.
VOD. Watching VOD together would be something that I would do.
Like they're taking
Playing
it
in like
or like self play, like you're playing with the person.
Although self play, I don't think you learn as much because if you play with 2 really good players and you're a shitty player, you can still be. I think.
You can still be carried, but the people know what you're doing wrong.
Yeah, but can you actually learn it though without, because there might be tiny mistakes that you make that they just that they cover up for you and they don't even realize.
A lot of people learn by doing, and
I think that
it's a lot easier to see people's mistakes if you're in the game with them.
Yeah.
So like if someone trinkets a stupid CC, you can be like, okay, in this situation you should never you can't trinket
it's
there.
Like, now we're
I actually have
talking
experience
about
doing that.
Yeah, now we're talking about individual people and like how individuals learn. Because like for example, I had the opportunity to play with really really good players as a holy paladin, and they told me a lot of things that I did wrong. And then I actually purchased. Yeah, and then I actually purchased a holy paladin coach from a very high rated player, which was amazing. And I had that coach, and they even pointed out things that I've been doing wrong the entire time that Asper and Floria didn't, or not Asper and Floria, Esper and Mage didn't have the ability to tell me about. So like it's like you get different perspectives and you learn different things. They each have their own reward. You know what I mean? So I think that I like coaching though. I personally like coaching because even if like it's just information that's being told to you, and whether or not you take that information, it's not the same as actually being carried.
I think that the thing I'm getting confused is self-play versus coaching. If you're actively coaching, you're self-playing your character with them, and they're actively coaching you, I think that's fine. But if you're just self-playing to get carried, then I mean,
it's a gray
all that they
line,
care about is getting you the rating. They're not really gonna. It's a thin line, sure, but
how much I gotta donate? Oh my god. Sorry, I had some nightmares come back to haunt me, dude. So
would you swallow a goldfish on stream? I'm just kidding. That's I don't know why I asked
dude? That. Okay. How about you, Kubzy? I want to hear your opinion on this.
I don't know. I feel like as long as you're playing your own character, I actually don't care at all. I think it's like
right
that you're going like there's no way you're not gonna learn playing against as long as you have a brain and like look at the game and try and improve. Like playing against better players than you is gonna help you get better faster than it is playing against noobs all day. So like I think if you want to play or pay for like a self-play in PvP, like that doesn't bother me at all. But obviously pilots are like bad for the game. But cool. Self-play is, I don't think, to me, like, none of that bothers me, I don't think.
Do you think it hurts the ladder, though, a little bit? Because there are people taking spots that probably wouldn't get it otherwise.
Depends on how high, I mean,
2200. They play to the rating. It's like...
They play their character. It's like if I went into Group Finder and I played with...
I mean, there's lots of bad people at high ratings already. It's like, what's one?
Everyone's bad, honestly. If you're not on,
it's like
if you don't have a C9 chair, you're shit at the game. To be honest,
it's very true. It's a good point. I hope that answered your question. Do you have any more? Or
thanks for that. I just had one more question for Kubzy.
Sure.
Yeah, I was watching your stream. I think it was yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And you said something about how the ladder, like, it just doesn't matter. Like, it's irrelevant or...
Because,
Yeah.
From my perspective, it's like, I'm going to get rank 1 on whatever I play. It's like, I have literally nothing to gain from being high on ladder. So, and then also, it's like, it's good to have that attitude, I think, even if you are striving for rating, because it's more important to, like, just play than it is to...
focus
on me, I think you'll get better that way. I think like you'll have more fun if you're just playing to play. But like, yeah, for me on ladder now, like there's nothing special about being high or anything. Like, just I don't know. I just do it for fun. So to me, it's not important.
All right, cool. And just my last question.
Okay. Shoot it.
Sorry, and sorry about that. Yeah, it's just about. When you've been away from the game for a certain amount of time, and like you come back to the game, and like all your friends have gone, since tons of people have actually quit the game now, as you guys probably know. What do you guys recommend for just like trying to get back into the game and back into the community?
Group Finder.
Group Finder, yeah.
Yeah, it's hard.
I actually made friends on Group Finder. I was playing my Shadow Pre.
Yeah,
I think it's just trial and error until you like. It doesn't matter how you're finding people. You just gotta like put yourself out there and like eventually you'll find people that you like to play with.
Yeah,
but,
find people that share a similar mentality as you, and surround yourself with good, positive-minded people that have the same goals as you. And if you give yourself a goal to improve, and if you give yourself the right mindset, and you surround yourself with the right people, and you maintain and consistently play to improve, you will improve.
So, coming from somebody like, all right, I quit PvE.
I guess that doesn't really answer your question. Oops.
I quit. Well, I quit serious PvE like middle of mop, end of mop a little bit, and like trying to find partners was almost impossible to find somebody who like just wanted to learn the game with you. And I don't know. I still don't think there's a good way to do that because people are so worried about titles and shit and like current rating.
Yeah,
there aren't
I don't think there's one like magic place you can find like-minded people. You just have to like through millions of people and play with like lots of assholes and hope eventually you find someone that's like enjoyable.
Agreed.
Yeah, that's the thing though.
Yeah,
I'm just like finding the community is a lot different to what it used to be back in the day. Like I started arenaing in like season 4 or 5, and I had just 2 people in my guild that I was raiding with at the time, and they were gladiators, and they just said, "Hey, we need a mage, and why don't you come play with us?" You know, I was shocking, you know, obviously, but eventually, like we got up to 2.4k, and that's when like we hit that ceiling where, you know, I couldn't go any higher with them. Like they, you know, I was obviously not good enough to go any higher than that, but now I'm just finding it like people are a lot less willing to give people a go, like these days. Like I don't know if it's
No, I agree with that 100%.
No,
Definitely.
yeah, like it was literally at the beginning of this year. I was empathetic of that notion completely. Like no one knew, GCD TV just started and no one knew who I was finding players, and back then I really wanted to compete at like the highest level, because when I was making the tournaments, I wasn't making the tournaments because I really liked watching it. I was also making the tournaments because I really enjoyed competitive PvP, and I constantly tried to improve myself. And trying to find partners when no one knew who I was very difficult. And there is this really hard moment where, or this really hard like threshold that you kind of have to prove yourself, and kind of have to find those partners to play with. And that's like, it is very difficult, and it's not your imagination. There is a threshold and a learning curve, and this breaking out sort of threshold that every big player has gone through. And the best advice to go through that is consistency, but it's different for everyone.
I also think this whole like we call it the gate. Let's call it a gate, right? There's a gateway that you have to get through,
right,
to like reach high rating. And once you have that high rating, finding partners is easier because people like trust you.
There is a moment where it is easier. There is.
I think that holds the community back. I think that holds our player base back because it's so hard to like. There's probably really good players out there that just can't find partners for whatever reason. They just don't vibe with other people, and they're never going to be high rated and never be like participate in high rated PvP because of that.
Yep.
You basically just have to find friends that, I don't know. Like I said, Group Finder's not perfect, but it's pretty cool. I learned that recently.
People might hate Group Finder, but dude, it is so much better than what we had before.
Yeah,
you
I've met people through skirms.
Spam a trade chat, and also watching streams is like the biggest thing. Like once you learn strategies, because WOD's all about like knowing comps and knowing how to play them correctly and knowing all the little like metagame stuff. Once you know all that stuff, you can sort of like teach other people how to play certain matchups, and you can improve not only yourself but other people you play with.
Right.
So you just have to find
Group
friends.
Finder kind of goes both ways though, because now it's so easy to find partners that people have like a worse mindset. Like every person you ever play with in Group Finder is disposable. You can just remove them, never talk to them again, and your life didn't change at all. So
yeah.
It's like
WOD's been a pretty elitist expansion, if you ask me.
Yeah.
So it's good and bad, but yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
People care about rating too much, man. Just have fun, dude. Have fun with the game.
And I just had one final question, if I'm allowed to ask one final question.
Yes. Last one.
I know this could have been... yeah, about, like, you know how they removed Glad from 2v2 and 5v5? I've noticed that's kind of killed the brackets. I mean, why do that? Like, I mean, what's the point of that? Why don't you just keep it in, you know? I think there's like a lot less people playing now, you know, and it's just impossible to find a fives group, or, you know, it's just...
I think that the taking out 5v5 and 2v2 from the titles also made those titles more important. Like future titles more important. Like
the brackets are so hard to balance. It's like even back when they were quote unquote competitive, people would cheat constantly, and it's just like so scummy. 2v2 was like the hardest, is so imbalanced, and it's always been imbalanced because it's like you just have the two best classes together, the best healer, the best DPS, and it's like it makes a god comp. And then I don't know, it's like 3 is like the magic number for WoW Arena.
I think that there should be incentive for those other arenas. I just don't think it should share the same incentive as the main best player reward.
Yeah, I like that. Just give little tiny rewards, maybe.
Like it may be a different title.
Yeah.
Instead of they're trying to establish threes as like focus. And so,
so just give like different title, and so people know exactly what bracket you got it in. That'd be
I suppose that's going back to asking Blizzard for another favor. You know what I mean? Like asking him to do something else. But I don't think adding just an additional title would be.
I don't like how you said asking for a favor. because it actually like
Because
in our opinion that kind of is.
Yeah,
It should just be. They should just do that to make the game better. But you know, in the current state, not enough people care about PvP.
It's like so when you think of like other game modes, like in League of Legends, there's ARAM and 3v3 and the other mode. You don't you don't get rewards for playing those, right? You only get like IP and EXP.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of see 5v5 and 2v2 as a way. Like you just get conquest points in through 2v2. Usually.
Yeah. I think it goes back to like the
there's a
age
bracket,
old.
but
I think it goes back to like that age old thing where like people still play those things because it's fun. Like I feel like we're trying to put incentives and get people to play when in reality we just gotta get to Legion.
Okay, the only person in here who enjoys twos like legitimately is
Kubzy.
Kubzy. Actually, I really enjoy twos.
Okay, you're crazy.
I know.
Twos
I'm really
is-
weird. It just
We
so
do twos the other day.
it's not
So
actually it's not
AIDS.
actually twos.
it's very
itself.
mind numbing.
It's just the convenience of just finding a dude and pressing Q. You know
That's
what I'm saying?
scrims for me though. If you're gonna queue anything.
Every skirm game you ever play is like not a game. It's like
Yeah, it's like, dude, they're
playing against like a
potatoes.
pro warrior or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so fun though. You're just in and out. You don't care.
I need a little bit more. It's like you need it once you get fully geared. I think you're gonna hate that, dude. I think you're gonna hate scrims when you're fully geared and like you're facing like a keyboard turning like green geared player, and you're like, wow, like I kind of want some sort of matchmaking to help me avoid playing against that, so it's a little more fun.
But you win, and winning's fun, dude. Winning is
That's true. Winning is fun. All right, we're gonna go on to the next caller.
Okay, before I add
Thanks,
anyone
guys.
else in,
Thank you, sir.
how are you all doing? Are you guys okay with keep asking questions? Because I didn't think we would get
Oh
this
yeah,
many.
that's a good point. Are
I'm-
you guys good?
Great. Thank you for asking.
I wish I
Hannah.
had
Yeah, I
another.
wanna make sure you guys
glass
are
of
okay.
whiskey.
How are you doing, Hannah?
I'm okay. I'm a little overwhelmed because I didn't think we'd have this many questions.
I'll take a plate of cookies or something like a.
Do you need like a break? You need like a cookie break or I don't know,
Ooh.
coffee break or
Cookie
something.
break.
How many more?
I would
How many
u-
more? Okay, so we've been given like 5 questions a person. Do we want to like set some ground rules? I didn't even think that
One
anyone-
question a person.
One question
I
per
mean-
person.
Then we have to like swap them out. I don't know.
Okay, Hannah, are you okay with one question a person? Because that means there's a lot of work on your.
Yes, I'm okay with one question a person.
Okay, so we are changing it to one question per person. So consider yourself lucky if you already asked your questions.
And I have two questions from people that would rather not get into voice, so I'm gonna ask them
All
for
right,
them.
let's hear this.
Aw, that's unfortunate, but you know, thanks for the
This-
questions.
This question is from Merlin. He says, I'd like to know what the analysts think about implementing a conquest style tourney. For example, in Hearthstone, each player brings 3 decks, and in order to win your match, you'd have to each win each comp. Sorry, he worded it a little weird. Wouldn't this solve the one godlike comp wins all and would require teams to utilize the 4th player in each roster?
Yes, I know, and you are ahead of your time, person who asked said question, because things are happening about something like that. But I can't really.
It's a really good idea. I like that.
Yeah, it's.
I like that question.
It's a really good idea, and it's going to encourage / force multi-classing, which it wouldn't be necessarily like a pro league style tournament format. Like the community would have to adapt accordingly to something like that, but it definitely would be a cool event, and it would be a cool way to encourage multi-classing more, and something like that is going to happen.
I mean, that's exciting for the viewers too, dude. Seeing different comps.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
see,
just
if you don't see
good
Turbo
entertainment.
Cleave and God Comp and RMD every single time you turn on
Good question, Merlin.
GCD, you know, you're gonna see like I don't know, DK Mage or something like that. That'd be cool to see new comps like that.
For sure. What do you think, Cubs?
I like that. Cubs.
Yeah, I think like variety's good. It's not much variety in WoD. It's variety. You know, same
Yeah.
stuff. Be entertaining. That's like what's important. But, yeah.
Do you guys remember that Prestige tournament, the EU tournament, where like
No.
I think wasn't it Yaz Presents the bands?
yeah, it was like Gas Presents and like some Russian website.
Oh, they
got
banned
together.
all Mage Druid comps or something?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, kind
Mage
of like
Druid is
that.
not allowed.
Okay.
No, not that one. It was like a composition. Like each team signed up with certain with each player, and then players signed up with multiple specs, and they got to ban.
Oh
they
yeah,
picked
yeah,
the
yeah,
bans.
yeah. I actually remember that.
So
I
then
thought
they
it
just
was-
picked
That was
Survival Hunter.
was
instead
that
of
Mop?
Yeah,
BM Hunter.
yeah, it was mine.
I think
I liked
like
it.
I think
I mean, it had
Jaw was
flaws.
playing with like
good.
Hydra or something. I can't remember.
Yeah, they lost.
I think we've covered this next question a little bit, but I'm going to ask it if you guys want to put any more points into it. Class Balance asks, do you think Blizzard would be more successful if WoW became an esport mainly as opposed to being mainly PvE orientated?
It's so hard, dude. That's a good question, though. And I don't think it was asked because I feel like what they're asking is that obviously PvE holds back PvP and vice versa. But if
They're trying to separate that, though.
Yeah. I don't think so. I think that if they focused heavily on the PvP,
Dude, no.
Most of the changes they make that affect PvP are because of PvE.
Yes, agreed.
So
but would the game be as successful as it is now if there was just PvP and it had the opportunity to grow?
They said Blizzard. So are we thinking the company Blizzard? Because I don't know how much more successful Blizzard can be. You listened to that earnings call too, David?
Yeah.
They were up 50% MAUs, or monthly average users, over the entire company, over every franchise. That's fucking crazy. As a stockholder, that's insane.
Yes, 50%.
But for WoW, if they focus completely on PvP, I think the game would get bad. Get bad for us because we like it, but it'd get bad for a majority of the people that play the game.
Yeah, I think that the harmony between the two is the best thing that Blizzard can do. Because not only when you look at the game and you look at the competitive aspects of the game, you're like, wow, this game looks really cool. I want to go and compete. Then you play the game and people find, it's almost like you find cool parts of the game in both entrances. Like there's two entrances of the game, people who want to fight dragons and people who want to fight each other. And then they take one entrance or whatever, and then they can discover the other entrance. You know what I mean? And I think that is a big part of the game. Necessarily, would it be as successful if they focused on and let it grow? I don't know. They'd have to be bigger than League of Legends to be as successful as they are right now. And I don't think that's the thing.
They make plenty of money with,
I think he's specifically talking about, would World of Warcraft be a better, more successful game if they focused on just one aspect and let it grow? And I don't think so. I don't think so. WoW is the Matrix with two different
the esports
pills.
side would, but not necessarily the entire game. I think the game would go down in users, but the average PvPer would, the amount of PvPers would go up.
It would be great for us, like Alb said, but I don't think it would be good for the whole game. I don't think the game would grow bigger than it is right now.
Probably be smaller.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, obviously it'd be smaller when you first start up, but it wouldn't even have the potential to get bigger. I don't think. I mean, it would slowly get bigger, but for it to
it'd have to be free to play.
Yeah, for it to be big enough to compete or to at least sustain the amount of money that PvE helps sustain, they would have to be bigger esport than League of Legends to get that amount of money.
Yeah, and besides, the reason we had 12 million subscribers at their peak was not because of PvP by any means. It was because it was an MMO.
Right.
You know, that was the biggest thing, was the PvE. And we say, when I refer to PvE, I don't mean just fighting dragons. I meant, in PvE to me is just whatever you're doing in the game that's not against another player. So questing, exploring stuff, doing pet battles, stuff like that.
Right.
Okay, we've got Chovy here with the question for Rositajones.
Oh God.
Hi, Chovy.
Hi. My question for Rosita or just any of you guys really in general, just I main mage. I'm currently at about 9050 CR. 2200 EXP. My problem is that I queue up into a lot of warlock teams, mainly affliction warlocks, and a lot of the time I just get stopped on my deep sheeps. I queue HBL God Comp, and mainly against LSD and WLS, the warlock just has
900
he
stops,
pretty much just saves
just boring.
the spell
that's what's wrong with the game. You just get really bored because you have to use abilities like Evanesce to get CC sometimes, and or if you don't set up perfectly, you just kind of you're stuck with this I get stopped every single time I press deep freeze. You just have to have a lot more coordination with your team, or you can try Evanesce out. It's pretty stupid ability that makes.
It's called God Comp. It's really hard for that because it's they don't really those warlocks don't need to CS anything else other than you.
Yeah,
And then,
they can just
Right.
paladin and win.
yeah.
So like versus WLS, you said WLS, you would need to like, it depends on what if you're killing the warrior, you'd need to like horror the warrior, have something on the warlock, like maybe silence or poly or frostjaw, or I don't know, maybe force a CS out of him and then you deep, and or you could use M&S, like I don't know. It's really hard to get CC versus that. Like if they're actually good, like really good at stopping. There's no like correct way to do it per se. You just have to have good coordination and good damage.
Yep.
Going shaman, going healers is not bad against that stuff either.
Going shaman versus that is really good too.
Well, I do that quite a lot, but then there are times where we just can't connect to the shaman, and we have no choice but to go like one of the DPS.
You have to push in together.
Pretty much just
Blink, blazing speed, deep freeze, or you can do the patented Rositajones blink CS. So it's good.
Yeah, that's Zarya. What are you talking about?
I don't know, man. I didn't see Zarya pull it off in a tournament yet.
Or going off fear is okay too.
Yeah,
if you're on shaman.
You can freedom the priest,
fear and go off stuff like that.
Uh-oh.
Or if he ever just pokes out, you can just like hit him with the horror.
We just dropped a few frames here. This might be the end of the stream here very, very shortly, guys. Because I'm dropping frames.
It's because like
interesting.
Even if I do get through the Warlock CS, then he'll have Shadow Fury up, and he'll just have me like off VDR and everything, and so it just screws me over.
CSM, and then go.
Yeah, that's true. If you can CS Warlock,
you can CS the Warlock, and then you can deep freeze the Shaman until like say you deep freeze Shaman after you CS the lock, and you get stopped in your polymorph, you cast Frostjaw, and your priest comes up with freedom and fears them, and then you poly off the fear.
Whoa!
Right,
900 kilobits
or something like that. So you don't necessarily have to get the deep sheep. You get the deep fear, and then you get polys off of fear because they're out of position to be able to avoid it.
All right, not to end this question early or anything like that, but we are starting to drop frames as we get later into the night, and I just want to get some more questions going. But I hope they helped you out and answered some of your question accurately. But we're gonna get the next one in here very shortly. But we do appreciate you coming on and asking.
Yeah.
Make sure to follow these guys on Twitter, man. It's because pretty sure if you tweet at Joey and maybe include like a cute kitten or something like that, he would totally respond to you.
I hate cats, so don't include kittens. Thank you.
Make sure to include a puppy or a really attractive.
I'm allergic to dogs too, actually. So.
What the heck? Okay, just link Joey something that makes you depressed or unhappy because that's what he's into, man. All right.
Thanks, Chovy.
Thank you, Chovy.
Bye, Chovy. Love you. Oh, you left.
Okay, Kobe Bryant X, what is your question?
Hi, Kobe Bryant X.
Hi.
What's up, dude?
All right. I wrote down my question because I was afraid I'd forget it. So
that's good.
It's as a new person to the game, it's hard to watch tournaments because all you hear is commentators speaking really fast.
Yeah.
And it's hard to follow what's going on. I went to BlizzCon last year and I noticed that most spectators pretty much cheer on when a player's HP gets low instead of the plays being made. Can I get your thoughts on that?
No, yeah, you're absolutely correct. I mean, we as commentators have to evolve to a point where we're not just catering to our own needs or our specific super high-end rated arena needs, but also the needs of newer people coming into it. And I do think that the interface could be improved and our commentary could be improved to help simplify things quite a bit. I mean, the game itself can be simplified. It's just a matter of letting the people who are in charge of these set events get into the mindset of doing just that. And I think that there's a lot of things that we can do to help improve and put a spotlight on those like little outplays. And I think a lot of those little outplays can also be improved on as the game gets better as well. I think that it's really hard for the current game to be able to put a highlight on those outplays unless the commentator sees them and then points it out. You know what I mean? And don't get me, we have really talented commentators, but I think the commentator that does it the best, that is able to get inside of the players' heads and really tell you exactly what it is that they're feeling and thinking, probably be Veneruki. But then the commentator who's able to actually catch those little outplays and bring them to the spotlight is probably Supatis. So we're constantly trying to make like dream team commentary, and little things like that will definitely improve as we go forward. But as
you know
of
what's
right now,
really good at the tiny details that I'll bring up later is VHL.
Oh yeah,
He's
VHL's
really
a
good about
god.
noticing something
He's
tiny.
He's
when
actually
brings it up
so
later.
good at everything. VHL is.
Yeah, he's
He can do any of it, and he recognizes what the commentary duo needs, and he adapts accordingly to make the commentary duo the best it can be. So VHL is definitely the Dark Knight of commentary. He makes the commentary the best it can be, no matter what role is needed. But to answer your question, I would say is what the heck? To answer your question, I would say that it's an evolution of the interface, and it's an evolution of the commentary that needs to improve, or that's what we can do to make things better moving forward.
I'd say that's probably like the biggest problem. Wow, it's like what you just said. It's too hard to understand. So it's definitely like hard to fix, but
It's
that's
hard
where
and
the effort
fast.
has to go.
I don't know, because like Dota, like when they have like the World Championships, get crazy viewership, and I have to be honest with you, I have no idea what's happening in Dota, ever.
Yeah.
Well, it's because it's free to play. First of all, that's the number one thing. It's a different game, and it has way more players, and it's run by Steam, so or it's like on Steam, so it's like a giant. Like I don't know, Valve's pretty big, so
It's like I don't know though. I feel like there's a lot of games
that's
out
why
there
it gets so many viewers.
that are quite like. There's a lot of games out there that are pretty complicated when you talk about. I think like if you're using like League of Legends as an example, like you can understand somewhat of everything that's going on in League of Legends, but not understand like the intricate outplays. All that WoW has is intricate outplays. They don't have like a general understanding of like the outplays or the highlight of the outplays.
Outplays.
Like, quote unquote.
Outplays.
Yeah. Health bar moving plays.
Pressing Storm Strike and Lava Lash. I sheared him. Kill him.
Hey, shearing someone is an outplay, okay?
I think every time I play my shaman, every time I'm about to kill someone, I'm like, I sheared, kill. 3-second interrupt. Anyway.
It's a legit interrupt, right, bro? But I hope I answered your question. I think like we have ideas on how to improve the broadcast and make it more accessible to a wider demographic. It's just executing them now at this point. What do you think, Ed?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
Hard question to answer, but I agree with what Chief said.
It is. I think it'll improve as casters get better, and as like we understand that we need to appeal to the more casual audience, anyways. You know,
Right.
they're gonna feed esports or WoW esports if it's ever gonna be successful. And I think it gets better as more people get into the game and watch streams. I think after you watch streams a lot, even as somebody who does arena a lot, like all of us here probably can watch BlizzCon and not know what most of the stuff going on without an add-on or something, just because of the nature of the UI or whatever. You know, like we get the general gist of like what's happening, what needs to happen, but little tiny plays, it's impossible to watch all at once.
Yeah. Joey. All right.
Why is Joey dying?
I hope that answered your question. And thank you for coming on.
Yeah, it's just like sometimes I feel like there's too much commentary on like the details instead of more insight on what commentators feel about the game as it's going on.
Yeah, we like to call that the living combat log is what we call that, and it's like it's an actual conscious issue that we commentators actually have. When I have that issue quite a bit, especially if I'm distracted by like technical issues, I'll jump back into the game and just read you the combat log as the game goes on, and it is a conscious thing that we understand isn't really great to listen to, but it's so easy to get back into, and it's gonna be an uphill battle and like a very gradual process to get out of. But I think that as we stay consistent with our tournaments, we are slowly getting out of that. And as we get more and more feedback from our counterparts and also from Blizzard, we will slowly improve and cater a bit more to the people who are maybe new, or like maybe not even people are new, but just make our commentary better. Because honestly, that combat log really doesn't really provide anything important a lot of the times when it's happening.
Well, that was cool.
I hope that answered.
I think that that's good. Yeah, I appreciate it.
Thank you for that.
Thank you, Kobe
and,
Bryant. It was a pleasure to meet you.
All right, guys, take it easy.
You too, man.
You
I
too.
appreciate that feedback and question.
Oh, I actually like this question. Can I read this?
All right, go ahead if you like it.
Rated solo queue. That actually sounds. That's what I've. I think would be really, really fun.
It actually was
would
brought
be.
up briefly a while back, right?
They should
It
definitely
got shot down.
do
I forgot
something
the
like
reason
that.
why it got shot down.
Because communication is so important to the game. But I think that the
Not
game develops
anymore.
more if you don't use voice comms.
Yeah, I like rated
Like-
solo queue.
Building synergy with random people becomes easier if you're like forced into a situation where you can't communicate with voice. Like that's what happens in League, right?
Right.
So, or like, and I don't know.
I
CS:GO
love
has voice
Do
comms.
you know
so.
how much like I know that there's pros and cons to rated solo queue, but you know how much activity would probably blow up in the rated scene if there was a rated solo queue?
Yeah, and you could probably find partners that way too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was like so many people on a certain private server just played solo queue, and it was actually so fun. It was the only downside was that
You can
It
get shit
made-
comps.
no, it just made that real threes ladder like a lot less active because people would just queue solo queue all the time, which is like bad and good.
Well, maybe
Well,
just
they
give
could
different
combine
like
them.
rewards ranked. Like it's not as
Or-
important.
Yeah.
Because like in League, they're making you're gonna be able to 5Q. It's like I forget what it's called, like dynamic queue or something, and I think it's gonna be a separate bracket.
I really
but-
like. What about like a solo queue idea where you can choose a DPS or healer, or like even go into like range DPS or caster DPS and like melee
You would say 20-minute
DPS.
queues.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you could have on the you can have like the solo queue system try and like enforce like good matchups. Like it tried to prioritize like mostly mirror matchups on there, and it was like more fun, and like it was always melee caster healer, so it was pretty good, I think.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I feel like melee caster healer would screw rep paladins though.
Yeah, it wasn't all. It would just try and like prioritize them.
What is a
But I
red
mean,
paladin? Isn't it a
If it's a red paladin caster
Shut up,
against
Joe.
another red paladin caster,
They
you know
pretty
what I
much
mean?
are. I mean,
Yeah,
every time
they're
they
just
kill
bad.
you 40 yards away.
That's a good point. That's a good point. All right, let's jump into
So-
the next question.
The one and only Absturge from Splice is here to
my
ask
goodness.
questions.
Oh my
Oh God,
gosh,
Carlos is-
Absturge, I want you to sign my mouse pad.
Hello.
Hey,
Hey, buddy.
hey, Carlos.
What's up?
Welcome to this. Welcome to the stream. What's your name again, Sturge? A.
What do you mean my name? What the fuck?
Are you Absturge?
I
Are
just
you
introduced
a
yourself.
Sturge or are you? Ask your question, Absturge. What's up, team?
What's your?
My head hurts from this. I just want to ask my question.
All right,
Go ahead.
feel free.
Okay, this question is mainly for Cameron or Kubzy,
Mm,
since he mains a healer.
okay.
why.
What is the
Okay.
most annoying comp for you to fight against, and why?
It's a good question. On any healer, or should I go over each healer? Because it really does depend what healer.
Whichever healer you prefer, I guess. You can do both Druid and Pally, it doesn't matter.
I guess on Paladin, it's annoying to try and heal like against Warlocks because just to cast all game. But so the most annoying though.
So would you say FLS then? The comp
Yeah,
that
I'd say
Carlos
FLS
cues?
on it.
I
don't like
I
that.
agree, man. Jesus, that
Oh,
fucking
no.
comp.
On Resto Druid, I actually hate healing against like things where you like win the game by not doing like. I feel like against H12 God comp as RMD, you just can't do anything all game. When you try to do stuff, they just like kill you or. So yeah, I don't know on Druid. I mean, I don't mind anything that much on Druid. I guess I sort of don't mind healing through stuff.
Windwalker DK.
No, because I like that too. Because if your partners play really well and like position well, it's hard for them to hit you. I mean,
I don't like
Windwalker
that.
DK as LSD is
blue.
annoying because then they just kill you. But if you play like RMD against it, it's like if your mage is really far from you and you use your cooldowns well, like Trinket Blink, you like shouldn't. It's like you can do stuff to not die.
Isn't Windwalker DK like the killer of blues? Isn't that like what they're known
Yes.
for? Is just killing the
No, I think
blues?
Shamans counter it.
Oh,
Oh, yeah, dude. I even know you're trolling there. Hello. All right. I appreciate
not.
your question, Carlos.
Thank you for your
and I love
question.
you.
Yeah, go into bed. Peace.
Good night.
Love you. Bye. Thank you.
Yeah,
Okay.
Betty. He means Taco Bell.
If you guys don't know who that is, that was the one and only Absturge. Make sure to follow him on Twitter and his stream as well. His stream is twitch.tv/thesturge. Big fan of that Restoration Shaman right there.
We have a question from JD. I think it's more of a question for Blizzard, but they want our opinion on it.
Okay.
The question is, there have been several instances of GMs spectating arena matches and rated battlegrounds. For example, and he has a little picture, and it's of this little GM character spectating an RPG game. He says, you can see the GM spectating in the back. Some of the players on the opposing teams were banned. Do you think it would be effective if they actually had a team dedicated to spectating players that have had numerous reports for hacks/exploits? Which I think, yes, it would be effective.
Yeah, I mean, when we were doing the online qualifiers, we were actually given the opportunity to tell Blizzard, like, oh, watch this player. Well, like, we'd have teams come in and say, nope, this player cheats, just so you guys know. Like, we have no way of just saying that this person cheats, so we're going to watch them. And so we actually had Blizzard GMs actually watch these players during the online qualifiers and make sure that
that's why it was funny when people would complain. Yeah, when they would complain about botting and stuff, because I was like, well, no.
Yeah, like, there'd be a lot of
have a team
players
game.
that got accused of botting and then weren't botting. But that being said, I mean, whenever you ask for more manpower and then you ask for more effort or anything like that, money gets involved, right? So it just goes back to the age-old question, like, if we were given more assets, if we were given more money, would that be the best way to catch them? And like we send them VODs and we send them situations where they can actually go back and see this person cheating, but still nothing happens. And I feel like, I don't know what it is.
I already do it for free, so I mean.
Yeah,
David,
I mean, we already have Elbereth doing it for free, so we don't need anyone else to do it. But I think it'd be like any idea that would, like, this is like Hannah said, this is mostly a question for Blizzard. We don't know what would be the best way to utilize the additional assets. All I know is that I feel like we do need additional assets to get rid of these botters.
I don't think the biggest problem with the game is botters, to be honest. It's
I don't either.
Minor compared to like what they can actually fix so much more with the game.
Yeah, so if we get additional assets, should we even put them towards botters? No. I mean, that's probably why Teamorph never. I mean, that's what they said. That's probably why Teamorph isn't punishable, because it takes additional assets to punish them. Why would they waste the assets on something silly like Teamorph?
Such a small amount of the community actually uses cheats like scripts and stuff compared to the amount of players. It's like not even worth the investment. And it'd be worth more of an investment to have like a set team of like high rated players like that are dedicated to like making the team better. I mean the game better, sorry.
Yeah, I feel you. I agree. Okay, we're gonna get another question in here. It's so funny. Hannah doesn't want to disrupt the main broadcast, so when she's like in calls with other people, she's like, "Hey, what's the question? You want to ask a question? Okay, nope, nope, you can't say the N word. Okay." And then she brings them down.
You get to the end word.
Then she brings them down, and then they ask the questions. It's so funny. Let's see what the next question.
There's a question in chat for me. Can you ask Elbereth what it was like working with?
You interrupted yourself, like it broke off.
Oh,
your mic broke off.
Wallabear asked what it was like working with, asking me, since I was on the show.
It cut off again. Okay, are you doing this on purpose?
No, it's not cutting off. It's not cutting off for me.
No, Elbereth, I just wanted to ask you a question to see what it was like to work with. You know what I mean?
That's what happened.
Oh, is Steve Carell like? Is it censored on Discord?
Oh my god!
Oh, it works. Steve Carell. Wait, who's Steve Carell? Wait, what?
Really?
I missed it.
I'm sorry. Holy shit.
Is it actually cutting off? Because it's not cutting off for me.
It cuts off at the funniest time.
Is it still cutting off?
Anyway, we have a question from Gay Chris.
Right,
What's your question?
All right, so this is actually a question for both Rosita and for Kubzy. And my question is, I'm assuming that you guys have been part of the PvP community for quite some time, and you've played this game from what I assume is since vanilla. What's your first seasons like, and how did you manage to get to where you are now?
Wow, that is such a good question.
Well, my first season was season 2, and I remember vividly, I was queuing in Shattra City, and I got so excited when I got 1800 rating in 2v2 with my my shaman that was a friend, or like my friend of mine, that I was like, okay, we need to stop. We need to sit this rating for point cap, you know? I was like so happy because I was full PvE geared Warlock, and I was just playing 2v2 with my friend, and just getting 1800 was like a big achievement for me. And it was like, I don't know. I wish that I could have that experience again with WoW, but it's impossible.
Well,
I think the highest rated I ever got was like 2200 back in like season 2, but I don't know if that was your question.
The second part of the question was, and how do you feel like you got to where you are now from where you've been? Like,
oh, because I really wanted to be good, and if you really want to be good at something, you put a lot of effort into getting better. So like, just you critique your own gameplay. Like, I don't know, think about things you could have done better in the game. Think about I don't know, different strategies, different comps you could play. Is your attitude right? I don't know. Are you like blaming? What are you like at the end of the game? Are you blaming your teammates every single game, or like what's going? Like, I don't know. What's your thought process throughout each game? And also, like, are you fully committed to it? I was like, when I was 15, I was really committed to the game, and ever since then, I've just kind of like, I don't know, just always been good since then. I just came naturally, kind of.
Yeah, I sort of like, it was almost a conscious decision for me. Like, it was just something like I'd look at like you know, at like Hoodrich and like Benruki and all these people. Like, I want to do that, and so I don't know. I started my first season playing Arena was season 8, and I was just like, and I played Warrior. And I was just like an angry 12-year-old, and I just spammed games and tried to do like the most damage, and just kill the enemy team. And then eventually I got like 2450 in season 8. It's like, I think I was pretty stupid, but I was just like a warrior, so it didn't matter. And I don't know, just kept playing. And then eventually I started playing like PTR and like AT more than I was playing live, really, and just trying out all these different classes. And I really like came back to playing a lot on live in like season 14. And that's when I started to get known, I guess, around there. But yeah, I guess that's how it happened.
Learning how every class works is also really important. So like knowing how Resto Druid works, Feral Druid, every spec in class works is like super important for like learning how to beat stuff. You can know their weaknesses. It's really easy to, well, not really easy, but sometimes it's easy to expose them.
Right. Understanding the tool belts of the classes that you're facing will always give you like
playing everything.
Yeah,
playing everything is like really.
That was
cool
a really
too.
good question though. Shout out to Gay Chris. Follow him on Twitter.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chris.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think we have our last question.
Okay.
And it is from Brock. And he is asking, what is your guys' opinion on separate ladders next season, Horde and Alliance? So they're going to have different ladders for each of the factions.
I wasn't even listening. Can you please?
What is your guys' opinion on the separate ladders? If they did Horde for one ladder and Alliance for the other ladder.
Very weird.
Like if they separated them.
Bad. Just bad.
I feel like
it's a shitty way to try and fix the thing.
It'd be like
a band-aid.
Whatever faction is favored.
I think that the biggest reason why they did it is because they felt like a big reason to why most of us gravitated to one faction wasn't just because that faction was overpowered, but because that faction was where we all were at. And so they feel like this is a way that they can prove that it's not the racials that's the problem, but the people following one another that's the problem. And so by splitting those rewards up, they're hoping that they can prove that that representation of faction would be fixed without actually changing the racials and stuff like that.
Proving it to who, though, man? I feel like the people with the brain, just racial.
You cut off mid-talk again.
People with a brain can what?
Oh, people with a brain? Was it brain?
He said something. People with a brain can blank.
I don't know.
I think that if it had like two separate you know how there's like a US 3v3 ladder bracket. If it was like Horde / Alliance, you'd see like Alliance 2800 be the highest rating, and then Horde would be like 1900, and it'd be like just pointless. because it would be.
I mean, it's all about how they execute it. If they execute it by just like letting people transfer to Horde like 2 days before the ladders get locked in or whatever, it could really be bad. You know what I mean? But not only that, but the seasons are even shorter. So people just swapping over to Horde just to try to get an easy title is going to be a lot more money because like they'll be doing it a lot more often. But I don't think that their intention is to get more money. I think that their intention is to actually try to make the faction representation a bit more equal. And I don't know if
it's a shitty fix, dude.
I don't know if it's the best fix. It really all depends on how they go about it. It could be decent.
It's lazy.
I don't know. What would you offer for an alternative method of evening out the factions?
The thing is that like, okay, here's the thing. I guess the vocal minority scream about, you know, it being racial.
Every man for themselves.
It is. It's the vocal minority, right?
Yes.
Because most people with a brain realize that people want to play with their friends, and people follow who they look up to, right? And now that streaming is such a thing, it's such a big thing, right? They can watch their favorite pro WoW player or whatever. They want to be the same faction just to like participate in events with them and stuff. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
It's not just racials. People follow, they fanboy, they follow
that.
guilds,
Yeah.
They do that. You can't fix that, right? You're like, why would you try and force to fix that, man? I don't know. But adding separate titles is like it's like a lazy fix. I don't know, man. It's really annoying that they did that, actually.
I understand why they want to be able to show that the factions being separated and like the factions can both be represented well. I just don't like how they're doing it. I think that there could be better ways. But at the same time, I'm like, I think there can be better ways, but I honestly can't provide them with that. My fix is to just let both factions play with each other. And everyone's like, oh my God!
I like that a lot.
Oh my God! You can't let Horde play with the Alliance in Arena? And I'm like, why not?
That's just the turbo nerds that say that. And okay, so if we take racials out of rated arena, do you think there's still a huge disparity? I think there is.
I think
because
that
people still want to play with their friends.
People will be able to play with one another if they could go on either faction and play with one another, and they'd choose different races, and there'd be better. I think there'd be better representation of different races if they didn't have to be forced into one faction.
But they would still say, okay, if we just because for people saying it's just racials, if we remove racials, yeah. That's what I'm saying. This is the argument against it. There would still be a ton of people on Alliance or Horde, depending on where the majority of players want to go to play with each other.
At the same time, like racials are a really big part of this RPG in terms of like choosing that race and getting that benefit of your favorite race is a really big thing. But it's just another one of those time old things of like super competitive contradicting that other aspect of our game, and they're clashing, right? I don't know. Taking that away would hurt a lot of like the role playing aspect, and it would make a lot of people angry who don't do competitive PvP and stuff like that. That they took away like that advantage that they were given to choose their favorite class or their favorite race rather. But at the same time, I think it would help PvP.
So they just give us a band-aid and give separate titles. I don't know. I find it lazy.
We gotta grow bigger. We have to grow the esports scene bigger together, like early stat. We as a team. What do you mean?
No, we don't work for Blizzard Entertainment.
Yeah, but we as a community can build it together. I mean, GCD TV's proved that.
Can't.
Hold my hand, Joey.
I don't want to build it for Blizzard. No. I don't want to build it for Blizzard at this point, man.
It has to be them that put the effort in, like make the changes and advertise and stuff like that. It can't be the community.
Well, I mean, like, I feel like if we give them enough incentive to want to help, it would get there. Like, because like we talked about it earlier, we're a very small demographic in this big game. You know, if we were a bigger demographic, maybe they'd want to invest more money and time into us. So if we get there, we'll get there.
You know what I'm kind of worried about is that it's gonna happen, and then a lot of people transfer to Horde to get free titles or whatever. Not free titles, obviously you have to work for it.
Yeah.
And then they're gonna claim that it fixed it, and it's gonna be like,
I'm worried about that too.
No, it's gonna happen. Instantly happen.
The whole reason why they're doing this is because of the vocal minority, like you said, holding them accountable. So we just have to be that vocal minority. If it
just
doesn't
ignore the
actually
vocal
fix it.
minority, man. Just no. So like some days I'm like really naive and I hope that people at Blizzard are just realize things. But then I see things like this and I'm like, no, they just don't get it,
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe some people do and there's just some roadblocks in place, but
All right, guys, we're going to be ending the stream here pretty soon unless we have more questions. We're all done with questions. So to end the stream, we will go around and do our little plugs. Shout out your homies, shout out your Twitter, shout out whatever it is you want to shout out. And yeah, you want to start us off, Kubzy?
Well, I think, is there Twitter on the screen?
Yeah.
Yeah, my Twitter's on the screen. That's C9Kubzy. And my Twitch is at KubzyX, or not at, I guess that's a Twitter thing. It's just KubzyX.
KubzyX.
And I'll probably stream in like an hour or something. Probably gonna
After
stream.
this?
Yeah.
Okay, sweet. Nice.
Not right after, but like an hour or something.
You're up, Elb.
you can follow me on Twitter, Elbreth11. It's on the screen. I'm just Elbreth on Twitch. Also, if any sponsors are in the stream looking to sponsor our World of Warcraft team, Team Method Black is actively searching for sponsors. You can contact me on Twitter or contact me on my email, which I will give via Twitter. Serious offers only. We're looking for a real sponsor here. But yeah.
Boom.
Agreed. I agree with Elbreth. You can follow me on Twitter. You can follow me on Twitch. It's the same thing, minus the underscore. I don't really have any shoutouts. I don't stream very frequently. I just stream when I feel like it. And yeah. So thanks for watching this little talk show we had. It was fun.
It was a lot
And thanks for hosting it, David and Hannah.
Thank you guys for coming on.
All right, guys. My quick spiel. Follow GCD on Twitter. That's all I really have is GCD underscore. Kind of like Rosita Jones's Twitch, but with GCD instead of Rosita Jones. But the biggest thing that I want to say is tomorrow the signups are ending. Yes, we are ending the signups early for this tournament. We announced it preemptively in advance, but people still might forget. So make sure that if you are a competing team and you want to compete in the next Pro League tournament, that you're getting those signups in by tomorrow, like at the latest of like 5 p.m. Eastern. So make sure, honestly, just sign up tonight. If you want to compete, sign up tonight, get your team together, because you're going to lose out on that opportunity to compete in the next tournament. If you don't, it's not Wednesday, it's tomorrow.
Cough, Joey, cough.
Cough, Absturge, if you're still in chat, Splice. Cough, Tempo Storm, a lot of you guys.
Oh, the Tempo Storms did send up.
Okay.
Why are you coughing at Joey? It's Adam's fault. What the fuck?
But thank you guys so much for coming and tuning in. We're going to be jumping back into the tournaments this weekend, so hit that follow button to be notified when we go live. And also follow me on Twitter, Dmachine_GCDTV. Oh, yeah, and Clutter on Twitter at Clutter_GCDTV. If you have to follow me on Twitter, you have to follow both of us. We're a package a deal. But
Just follow Clutter, don't follow Dmachine.
Yeah, just follow Clutter. Clutter actually has a Twitter for her cat. I'm going to go ahead and plug that. Make sure to follow Peter Pan's Twitter, and that's PeterPan_GCDTV. It is
Good Lord.
stupid, but you'll enjoy it.
It's not stupid.
It's not stupid. All right. Thank you guys so much for coming
Can we
and tuning
ban
in.
David?
And I'll see you guys next time. Peace.